with this victory at Mosaic Stadium tonight.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we're here to stay.
The Tom Gazzola Show on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Good morning. It is Monday, July the 27th. Week 8 in the CFL is in the books. Dylan Cease with a Saturday masterclass, a lone bright spot for the Toronto Blue Jays over the weekend, and NFL training camps underway across the entirety of the league. Good morning to you, and welcome into the Tom Gazzola Show here on Sports 1440. Coming to you live from inside the Stingray Studios at West Edmonton Mall. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Tommy G this week as he takes his first vacation as a member of the Sports 1440 team. Very well-deserved. I think he's down in Calgary and a few other places helping out some buddies with some hockey camps and stuff. So no rest for the wicked for Tommy G, but happy to be sitting in for him here for the coming week. The show, as always, is brought to you by Bet365. Canada just hit the biggest home run of the summer. Bet365 is available in Alberta and here to stay. Download the app. Must be 18 plus. Please play responsibly. And however you are watching the show this morning or listening to it, we do appreciate it. Of course, you can check us out over on YouTube. Sports 1440 AM is the name of the channel. Drop us a subscription. I think we're creeping up on a new milestone over there, so would love if you could join in on the party. Drop us a like while you're watching the video, and then all of our social channels too: Facebook, X, Instagram, Twitch. You can find the video stream of the show, and of course the old reliable terrestrial AM dial for listening, iHeartRadio, the TuneIn app, and at our own website, sports1440.ca. If you do miss any portion of the show, just give it a little search, The Tom Gazzola Show, wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, you name it, you can find it there. And you can also subscribe as well as the auto download feature. The episodes will be waiting for you in your library. You never have to miss a second of the show. And what a Monday morning it is. A busy weekend across the sporting landscape with the MLB trade deadline now just a week away. A lot of teams starting to make their decisions. I think we all know where the Blue Jays are at in that camp of probably doing some selling here in the next 6.5 days. Another thrilling week in the CFL, man. No snoozers across the board, going all the way back to that absolutely dynamic effort from Thursday night at Mosaic Stadium between the Riders and the Elks. And the Edmonton Riverhawks win 2 of 3 over the weekend, and did want to take the moment to give a big congratulations to Dr. Randy Gregg, Ryan Gregg, Steve Hogle, Jake Lampham, and the entirety of the staff, because for a 4th straight season, the Edmonton Riverhawks have set a single season attendance record for the WCL, breaking their own record from last year, which broke their own record from the year before. 4th straight year of a new attendance record, 142,043 people through the gates at Remax Field this season. And we'll dive into all that and a lot more here over the course of the show. But let's welcome in our Monday morning co-host, the Grey Cup champion, former Double E, former Vanier Cup champion with the U of M Bisons, and North Winnipeg Nomad standout as well. The real deal, Eddie Steele. Good morning, sir. How are we on a bit of a cloudy, smoky, gloomy-ish Monday morning?
It does have that little bit of feel. I'll say this, Duke, with Tommy G out here, you know his liner about mornings got a lot sexier.
Yeah.
But with us in here, mornings got a lot balder.
Yeah. I got a lot smoother. Mornings just got a lot smoother in a few different contexts. But no, glad you're in, Eddie. How was the weekend? You get up to anything particularly exciting?
Had some in-laws in for the weekend. Father-in-law was and his partner were out, so just kind of hung out and hung with the kids, did the family thing, and
get out and swing them at all?
No swinging. I haven't swung for about 10, 11 days now. I'm starting to really get that itch, got to scratch it.
That's I've actually done to myself, because last weekend I played for the first time since bagging the knee up back at the start of May. And I played and it was good, hit a lot of good shots. I was like, all right, cool. I hadn't really thought I'd been missing the golf that much, because I just I'm not playing. It's not feasible.
You're not in it.
I'm not in it. Now I played again on Friday morning. Huge shout out to Grazer down at Devon. He's the GM there. I took a buddy and his wife and his mother-in-law, and he got us all set up with the round. Unbelievable conditions. I was blown away by how good a shape the course was in, considering all the moisture and stuff this year.
And their location.
And right along the river valley, right? It couldn't have asked for better. It was excellent. Beautiful day. Lunch at the clubhouse afterwards. Excellent. Played there. Same thing. Played pretty well. Hit a few good shots. Had to get out again on Sunday. Went and played at Red Tail, part of course the CCT, which brings you golfing with the G-Man on Fridays down by the airport. after that big storm on Saturday night, it was a little soupy out there.
A little mushy.
Cart path only, pretty slow moving, but it was a beautiful day. A few cold drinks, kind of met a stranger as our third in our group that I was playing with a buddy, and he's a cool guy, so no complaints there. My point here being the itch. It's fully kicked back in. I feel it lingering at all times where I'm just walking around and like pull up in my apartment, take a few practice hacks. How's my plane coming through here?
Is my follow through right?
So I'm fully back in there, even if my body isn't quite ready to recognize that, because the old knee joint pretty sore this morning.
We're gonna have to definitely get out and play. How would you shoot? What were some of the scores?
Saturday at Devon, I think I shot 46 on each, the front and the back, and then yesterday at Red Tail, I shot a 46 on the front and a 41 on the back.
Good for you.
Or no, maybe whatever the combination
right
was. It was I broke 90 yesterday. I shot 89 yesterday, and I think it was 96 on Friday. So lots of fluctuation still, Eddie, but that's just the nature of the game. So we can dive into a few different things. I want to go full CFL week number 8 with you. We got an open segment coming up just because of availability. We'll be joined by our first guest at 7:40, and you can get in on the conversation with us this morning as well. 1-833-401-1440 is our text line. Thoughts, impressions of what caught your eye over the weekend. I did want to start with the Toronto Blue Jays, and specifically Saturday's game where Dylan Cease took the hill, stretching it out, had a no-hitter going through a handful of innings, gives up the single. It proved to be the only hit he gave up in the game, and it's just borderline frustrating, I think, for baseball fans and really Blue Jays fans, because there have been some things for the Blue Jays this year that have gone so well and so right. And Dylan Cease, Louis Varland are probably the headliners of that list. Now, we don't expect, I think, barring an insane offer for someone like Louis Varland or something we know Dylan Cease isn't going anywhere as we approach next week's deadline. But Kaz Okamoto's been rock solid with another big homer over the weekend too. And elsewhere, it's a lot of disappointment with very little positive upside. So even in a day where you get that performance by Dylan Cease, he single-handedly wins you the ball game. The offense does come alive for a stretch. Then you follow that up with yesterday's performance where you can't muster anything. You can't generate anything. And it's just any positive momentum or hope that you were trying to put into your front office's mind about what players to ship out or not to is completely moot. Like this team is 100% selling. They're not making the playoffs. And it's going to be, I think, a little bit of a slug and slag here for Jays fans as we still got another 2 months of the regular season to go. And it's a far cry from last year where at this point, having taken back over the top of the standings, or if they weren't quite there yet atop the AL East, very close to it, bouncing around. The excitement was palpable. Right now, it's essentially non-existent.
The way I look at this Jays season, it's a write-off at this point. Look, what are they, 14 and a half games behind the Rays for first in the AL East. It's over with. I don't know how many games they are out of 5.5 out of a wild card spot. It's very reminiscent to me just of the Oilers and some of the hangovers that they have going deep. The Jays went on that deep postseason run, and I think there's just some lingering effects of that, especially with the way that they lost. Vladdy, the season that he's had, you'd like to hope it's a one-off, right? And he's the straw that stirs the drink. It begins and ends with him. The entire organization, I think they are where they're at, not only because Vladdy, but when your superstar performs the way or doesn't perform the way Vladdy has, it's going to have a stain on everybody else around. I'd like to consider, and I want to pose this question to you and Donnie, because we know Donnie, big baseball guy over there as well. Do you guys think that this is a one-off for Vladdy Guerrero this season, or is this a trend now that we should start to be cautious about and start to be monitoring?
Well,
is he losing power? Is he not the same hitter that he was just a year ago?
Let's welcome in, man, on the ones and twos this morning. Donovan Paulson sitting in as our in-studio producer. Donovan, good morning. Thanks for being here. How are you? How was your weekend?
I had a busy weekend. I had a fun weekend though. I was kind of out gallivanting around all weekend. I was
getting after it.
I was at the Riverhawks game yesterday. I was at NASCAR Canada Series on Saturday, as I know you are well aware.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into that probably in the next segment, I'd imagine. But I did a lot of different things. I had a fun weekend, and I got my car broken into. It was a great weekend. But as for the question, Eddie, I would say that I'm not worried about it being necessarily a trend, but I think you can look at the home runs and say 2021, 48, 2022, 32, 23, it was 26, back up to 30, and then you had 23, and now you have 6.
Ooh.
So I look at this as a player who I think a lot of people talk about as one of the elites of the game. I think it shows you he's not really one of the elites of the game. I think what this shows you is this is a player who needs a lot of help and a lot of protection and isn't worth his contract in the slightest. It's a player who, when he has help and protection around him in the form of Bo Bichette and George Springer having an almost MVP level season, he can have a great year. When he has a lot of help around him offensively and those two protecting him, he can be great. But when he doesn't have those two, I think part of it comes down to just a total lack of confidence this year. I'm writing this season off for him. I'm saying this is not a trend. But I am saying if you want him to get back to that player, I think you need to do a substantial overhaul on your offense.
It's very valid. And the departure of Bo Bichette, even with the really slow start he had as a Met, he came on into the middle part of the season. Frankly, I haven't even checked in on the Mets recently.
They're horrible.
Well, I know the team's horrible, but Bichette had been like when the Jays played the Mets, Bichette's actually run of games at that point were much more reflective of the Bo Bichette that we came to know here in Toronto in terms of just hit machine, generating offense. Even if it's not, hitting a home run, every time he comes to the plate. That's never been his game. He's got jam for sure. But my point being that when you added your main offensive addition to your lineup was a rookie who had never played in the MLB before, and all the credit to Kaz Okamoto because he's been the best hitter this team's had all season. It's still a little bit of a different element than what a player like Bichette or that profile of player provides to a lineup. And as you said, Donovan, some protection for Vlad Guerrero Jr. And then you combine that with the fact no one else in the lineup can hit on a consistent basis. Even like the ones that you look to consistently, a guy like Ernie Clement, who is probably the next closest hitter you can say is like, do you hate what he's accomplished this season? Maybe not, but there's a lot of other areas where Clement maybe has taken a little bit of a step backwards. It's just you don't have the same insulation throughout your lineup. And it's with the full understanding last year, they go to the World Series, almost every guy had a career season.
Yeah.
Right. And it's all what made them so likable and easy to root for was that they were guys coming out of AAA like Nathan Lucas that have been career journeymen plugging away down there. The reemergence of a guy like Miles Straw as an everyday MLB player, despite being DFA'd in seasons prior. The way that the Jays are run by Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro is not through offense. It's about pitching, developing, and things like that. It's hard. We're almost back to the conversation we were having 2 years ago, where it's about the direction of the team and how it's built.
I'm already back there.
In today's MLB, I think, and to talk about protecting a guy like Guerrero, you need to make a bigger ad offensively to help buoy this team.
Well, you mentioned pitching, and the help is coming because Max Scherzer, 42 years old, getting the start on the bump. Get out of here,
baby.
Man. Come on
Are you
now.
excited?
Come on now. Scherzer, he's been banged up. He had been banged up before he signed as a Jay. I don't think he had some good outings last year. He did. But I don't think his tenure as a Jay has been anything like the hype thought it would be. And we talked about this, Duke, when he signed. Mm-hmm. It was more of a legacy signing than anything.
And like the chance to, be like an extra coach inside your pitching staff. And he can still do that. Now, Eddie, are you really discounting the tremendous outing he had in his rehab assignment last week?
Oh, my goodness. What did he get, 6 Ks or something?
He could be back. Scherzer will start today as he returns to a place very familiar with in Washington, D.C., played with the Nationals, won a World Series there. 4:45, so a little bit of an earlier first pitch. You can listen to that game right here on the Sports 1440 AM dial only. When we return, I want to dive into the weekend a little bit more, and more specific, Donovan, you were at the NASCAR series. I was at the Riverhawks on Saturday when the storm rolled in. You went to the Riverhawks yesterday. We can even go all the way back to Thursday, Eddie, because I'm sure there's still a little bit of giddiness from you to continue to dive into the Elks. And it seems like forever ago because it kicked off week number 8. But listen, I wasn't in here on Friday. I didn't really get to bust it down. So I want to revisit that as well as the rest of week number 8 in the CFL and how things are looking league-wide as we've crossed the 1/3 threshold for every team. Some surprises. The injuries continue to pile up and plague different clubs. We will continue to dive into all of that and much more. Coming up on the show today, 7:40, TJ Luther, WR2? Question mark for the Edmonton Elks is going to join us, chat about his career landing here in Edmonton after bouncing around the NFL and some practice squads for a few different seasons, his college career, of course, and what it's like now settling into the CFL in his first season up north of the border. 8 o'clock, Mark Spector will be by for On the Mark, as he is every day. 8:40, we'll go in or out with Donovan. And in the 9 o'clock hour, Alan Mitchell, the Lowdown with Low Tide, will pop on and check in with us after the weekend. We'll hear from Cam Tate at 9:40. And then at the 10 o'clock hour, talking basketball with Paul Sir from Hoop City. The news came down. It was about halfway through your guys' show on Friday when I wasn't here that LeBron James signing in Philadelphia. So looking to dive into that a little more extensively with Paul, what it means for the rest of the league and implications in the Eastern Conference. And then at 10:20, we'll head down to the Bay. Noah Furtado from the San Francisco Chronicle covers the Niners. He's on the beat there. News about Kyle Shanahan and a car accident. He's not going to be at training camp for at least the beginning as he still recovers. What does that mean? And how do the Niners sit inside this very competitive, expected to be competitive NFC West division? Lots more in between as well. One more time, joining the conversation with us, 1-833-401-1440. We're back right after the break to talk some CFL with Eddie. It's the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440, brought to you by Bet365.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
Must be 18 or older. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. T's and C's apply.
Yeah, it's me again. And if you're sidelined with a sports injury, you already know nothing's more frustrating than being told to just rest. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we get athletes moving sooner with our zero-gravity treadmills. You can run, train, and rebuild strength with up to 80% less body weight, so your injury heals while your confidence comes roaring back. When your sports injury's yelling, whisper back, leadingedgephysio.com, because life shouldn't hurt.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Kickoff is coming August 1st. Elks, Rough Riders at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. The prehistoric party is back, presented by Purelator Tackle Hunger. Experience family-friendly fun all game long with a dinosaur-themed contest. Get your tickets at goelks.com/tickets.
Struggling to find skilled workers? What if you could fill your talent pipeline with motivated, pre-vetted youth and receive funding to support your efforts? At Careers the Next Generation, we connect Alberta employers with interns in skilled trades, IT, agriculture, forestry, and more. All WCB covered, high school accredited, safety trained, and ready to contribute from day one. With 83% of RAP students continuing their apprenticeships after high school, investing in youth today means securing your workforce for tomorrow. Don't wait. Visit careersnextgen.ca to get started.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact, because our team is built on second chances, and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
It's dollar drink summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
This summer, cheer on your favorite teams at Sully's Sports Bar and Lounge. Never a bad seat in the house with tons of big screens. Plus, Sully's Big League menu has it all. Small bites and big bites, game day food and drink features, something for everyone. From the gridiron to the diamond, this is the place to catch all the action all summer long. Sully's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Every day is game day at Century Casino. Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
The Tom Gazzola Show with guest host Brandon Douglas on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
$7:22. Welcome back into the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Tom this morning. The show, as always, brought to you by Bet365. Eddie Steele, the former CFLer Grey Cup champion, alongside Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick, all in studio as well. And we were just speaking during the break, kind of recounting some more of our respective weekends and the storm that came through on Saturday. Man, Eddie, it's Alberta. We know the weather is always very volatile. Wintertime, the blizzards, the snow, the wind, the cold, all these things. This summer, it's been a pretty, we know how much it's rained, but the frequency of these pretty aggressive storms has become almost norm. And all I could think about as I was standing on the concourse of Remax Field, watching it blow past outside, thinking, my poor tomato plants, they're just getting absolutely torched because Fennies have already fallen victim to one of these previous storms. That same one, I got back in time to pull them in under a little bit more protection and cover. Next time around, I wasn't home when the storm came through. I had to do a little bit of retransplant, trying to get them a little bit more solid base into the pot because they just got flattened out by the wind. And they survived pretty decently on Saturday. But I was at the baseball game. I know a ton of people were at the Post Malone concert at Commonwealth Stadium. I would love to hear from any texters that were there. And I didn't see any reports of substantial injuries or anything coming out of it because they managed to get, I think, everybody under cover in time. But you see some of the videos of even standing on the concourse at Commonwealth, the wind howling in off of the seats. And it was the same at Remax, down the little tunnels back towards the concourse, the wind and rain is pounding in. The aftermath at Commonwealth, all the chairs and stuff down on the field, just completely in disarray. And it looks like it goes through a giant thunderstorm, which it did. So have you ever been playing at Commonwealth or an outdoor stadium when something like that rolls in? Obviously, the game gets called before it gets too extreme, but you guys will play through a lot of pretty adverse conditions. Usually it's once the lightning's in the area, they have to kind of call it, though. Yeah. The rain is the worst, Once you're wet, and you can't avoid it. I guess if you're thinking of the different elements to play in, snow, rain, wind, all of those bad ones, I would say the rain is probably the worst. Snow can be challenging itself. The footing is tough, but it's there's a fun kind of sense of playing in the snow, a childhood type of sense of fun when you're out there, sliding around and everybody's kind of slipping, and it's just more throwback. With the rain though, Duke, oh my goodness. You're just soaked, you're cold, you're sitting on the bench, just miserable. I remember there'd be games where you get off of the field and you just keep to yourself. You don't even want to talk to your teammates or coaches. You just sit, just huddle to yourself, put your chin down and just wait until the defense has to go back out there.
I have certainly been a part of some big delays as well. Hour to 2 hour delays. You got to come back out and get warmed up and get the juices flowing again. And it's very challenging. I don't like weather. Do not like the weather. And I'll say this. Is it me or just in general? Does it feel like the weather is just getting more extreme here the past couple of summers? I'm not putting my tinfoil hat on this Sports 1440 program in the morning today.
Who's to blame, Eddie?
But it's just, I don't know, harp. If you know, you know.
Oh,
It's just the weather is extreme. Extreme heat, extreme forest fires, extreme rain and moisture this summer. It's all over the place.
Well, you know what they say, Eddie? Don't mistake weather for climate.
Oh, profound.
Now, usually that's in reference to people in the middle of winter when it's minus 40 saying, how do people think that the planet's heating up when this happens? It's like, well, the two are different.
Yeah.
And one in turn causes the other. But we don't need to get into all of that. I wanted to dive into the rest of week 8 in the CFL and what kind of caught your eye, Eddie, because after Thursday's game, you made a pretty bold proclamation both on here and over at Elks Nation with Declan, talking about you believe that Edmonton is the best team in the CFL here through 8 weeks. And we hadn't seen the rest of week 8 at that point, but we saw Calgary, another offensive dynamic performance, beat Winnipeg. Drew Brown, maybe not it. 4 interceptions in the game. They still put up 30, but Calgary takes it 52-30. Then Saturday afternoon, the Argonauts. Credit to BC because their defense continues to try and hold them in games. But Toronto takes it 26-12. Chase Bryce, man, just goes to show you got to have a good secondary option at quarterback if you're in the CFL because we know how often guys miss games. And then yesterday, man, Hamilton did give Montreal really all they could handle for a good chunk of the game, but turnover by Trey Ford late in the contest ends up costing them, and the Alouettes take it 31-18. So Montreal and Edmonton both at 6-1 atop their respective divisions. What that have you seen so far makes you believe that Edmonton is the better overall football team than Montreal right now?
Oh, that's a very good question. I guess, first of all, if we just stack up the records, they're both 6-1, but Edmonton has the tiebreaker due to beating Montreal earlier in the season. So just based off that merit alone, Edmonton is the better team. If playoffs started today, Edmonton would be the number 1 seed. So just the factual numbers is what it is. When we look at the roster, yes, Montreal has Davis Alexander and one of the Philpott brothers who's lighting it up.
Ooh.
They have talent, but Edmonton has talent too. Look at TJ Luther's numbers. Look at Rank. Look at Austin Mack's numbers. I was hesitant on completely buying and being all in on Edmonton. I still was in kind of prove it mode as much as I champion them, but that's completely out the window now. Seeing how they've performed against Saskatchewan, seeing the bounce back that they had against BC coming off of their one and only loss, I really wanted to see how they would respond. And they responded with a championship effort. And then the effort that they had in Sask, where Sask was coming off of a bye week. Sask obviously heavy hearts and had the tragedy, and they were playing for more than just the football game themselves. That game, you thought Sask maybe would come out on top, and they gave Edmonton their best effort. But Edmonton still went into a tough building and took that win. I really like the well-rounded nature of Edmonton's offense. It's starting to really come into shape. And we know how heavily focused Justin Rankin was initially in the season, right? He was on an MOP pace, a record-breaking pace in terms of going 1,000. But now we're seeing Cody Fajardo starting to open it up. The passing game starting to open up more. And that's going to start to help Rankin down the stretch, I think. Defensively, I think Edmonton has the best defense in the league. Full stop. I really do.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to argue that when you look at the way they continue to generate turnovers, especially from the secondary, just ball hawking. And that type of aggressive nature can at times cost you. And I think we saw that a little bit in the Saskatchewan game, just the aggressive anticipation, I guess, almost where you want to try and bait them into the throw to a chance to generate the turnover instead of blanketing on them and eliminating it as an option to the opposing quarterback. It comes at risk.
You can get got sometimes.
You get got, and then kind of the result of that is often you end up giving up 30-plus points, which Edmonton did. And that came for, a variety of reasons. You got to give the other team credit, too. They're trying as well. But it kind of leads me into the next question about the more league-wide. And you played defense, you're, all-star, all-decade team, all these things. In the CFL, when you're on a defensive unit, do you really measure your worth or your value by points against, because in this league, it's like, you're going to give up points. It is so directed in towards favorable to the offense to generate momentum and movement. So like the reason I bring it up is because of the BC game where you're playing your backup quarterback. You give up 26 points to the Argonauts, who have one of the best offenses in the league. Like 26 is no small number. Like we're talking 3+ touchdowns total. Is that, in your opinion, to hold a team to 26 points enough to win? Should that be enough to win a game in the CFL?
Yeah, 26 is kind of on that threshold. It's a really good question. When we look at the Edmonton BC game where Edmonton won 19-17 a couple of weeks ago, that is a game that, defensively, if you hold them to under 20, you should come out on top. The defense did their job. Now, when you limit the Toronto Argos with Chad Kelly, who is hitting on all cylinders, to 26, that's a good thing. Now, Chad Kelly did get injured in that game. So,
another injury.
Yeah, another QB injury, actually, which is terrible for the CFL. But when you knock out the starting quarterback, you fully expect points are out the window. You fully expect to just be in one. And when I say be in one, just a street fight, a brawl.
Which is kind of what we saw Edmonton do against BC the week prior to this most recent one, right? Where, the offense, they kind of seemed pretty stagnant and weren't getting a lot going. But, I mean, we're seeing from BC, like, they've got a pretty good defensive unit over there. So as, like, more hindsight gives us context on that game, you almost take it a little bit more in stride and you say, defense came out and won that. What happened the next week? The offense comes and balls out. And the defense came up with some big plays at big moments, but it was the offense that won you that game, and in particular, the arm of Cody Fajardo.
Well, and that's what goes to show you why Edmonton is such a good team, because 2 weeks ago, a complete defensive effort won that game. Offense was nowhere to be found. And here we could fast forward to last week, and it was a complete offensive effort. Defense led up 34 points to the Riders, but the offense was outerworldly. Cody Fajardo, 510 passing yards on 25 completions, Duke.
Wow.
32 attempts only to get 500 yards. That's remarkable. I actually have been saying, and this is a good one because you have a vast depth knowledge of football and history. This, I would argue, is one of the better quarterback performances in the entirety of football, NFL, CFL. When you factor in the completion percentage, when you factor in 500 plus yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. I'm not saying it's the number one quarterback performance ever, but that's about as upper echelon quarterbacking you could ever find.
Well, and it's, put whatever stock into things like QBR and passer ratings and things like that. But by those metrics, it's essentially a perfect football game, right? Like, and it's so funny because a lot of our discussions around Cody Fajardo have been, he's not going to wow you with the arm talent. He's just going to protect the ball. He's going to manage the game. And those things were all still true in this game. The difference is that he did land a couple of big blows where he aired it out and they attacked over the middle of the field, which hasn't always seemed to be his strength or how they wanted to scheme. But I think there's a little bit of credit owed to Jordan Maksimic, who I've been, considering how strong of a start the season has been, I've been a little critical of with some of the play calling, whether it be inside the red zone or in short yardage situations. And we saw that in that game too, where they failed to get that one third down with just a yard to go. And we've long discussed my, disappointment or indifference to bringing in your third string quarterback for these type of plays. I don't like it, but that's a conversation for another time. So with Maksimic in this game and the way that teams have started to really focus on Justin Rankin, I still think he needs to get the ball and get some touches, because you never know when he can snap off a big, first down run, 25-yard run, 60-yard scoring run. Like that's always a possibility with a player of his ilk. But then pivoting and saying, all right, now what else is open to us? And that was on full display in Saskatchewan, because they once again, just like BC prior, was really focused on, like, we're not going to let Justin Rankin beat us. All right, what else is open? The passing game is suddenly opened up a lot more, and a lot of that came off of play action.
The play action was huge, actually.
Yeah.
And why? Because the defenses are keying so much on Justin Rankin because of the success he started with. Now it sucks them up. I want to just talk about Cody Fajardo for a quick moment before we break here, though. His career high previously was 4,300 yards, 18 touchdowns, 8 picks. Like, that's not earth-shattering numbers. 18 touchdowns, 8 picks is his best season. He right now is on pace to have his best career football season ever. So far, he's at 2,291 yards, so just shy of 2,300, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks only. The word on Cody had always been, He'll throw the touchdowns. He'll have the interceptions. He's not going to pass for a lot of yards. I mean, a 4,300 as a high, that's nothing to write home about. But what he's doing right now with this offense is really opening it up. He's averaging 9.5 yards per completion, by far his career high.
Yeah.
So it's quite something. And I actually on Elks Nation, we were talking about Cody, and I kind of jokingly, said tongue in cheek that he could pass for 5,000 yards. Just looking at the weapons, signing Austin Mack, hopefully Keon Julian Grant would take steps. Other receivers, I thought Ben Victor at that point in time, but TJ Luther came and took a job. And I said that jokingly that he might pass for 5,000 yards. You know what? Cody Fajardo is well on his way to pass for over 5,000 yards, a new career high. And this is unprecedented. And we're seeing him play at the peak of his game right now.
It's been awesome to see, and you feel good for a guy because such a good teammate going back to the end of his time in Montreal, like kind of handed things over to Davis Alexander and then landing here last season. There was still some ups and downs, but he kind of weathered the storm, and he seems like a guy that really rallies his teammates. And we talk about Mark Killam's style of leadership. I don't know if it's the exact same as Cody Fajardo's, but neither are afraid to show some emotion, right? Which I think can really galvanize a group of players in a team. So it seems to be pushing all the right buttons right now for the green and gold. When we return, we will be joined by Edmonton Elks wide receiver TJ Luther, first year with the team, first year in the league. He's having himself a great start to his Canadian football career. We'll check in with him, see how he's finding things in Edmonton and his time with the Elks. It is the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Eddie Steele, Brandon Douglas, Donovan Paulson, and Josh Fenwick all alongside. Watch us. We're streaming the show on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Hurry in for hot summer savings at Wolf GMC Buick. Take advantage of 0% purchase financing for up to 72 months on select new 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 pickups. 0% purchase financing for 36 months on select new 2026 Sierra 2500 Denali and Denali Ultimate models. Plus, huge cash savings on GMC Sierra heavy-duty trucks. And ask about the $1,000 truck trade-in bonus and low-rate lease offers. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the hard jobs that take know-how, expertise, and the right experience. And that's why, time and time again, GS Construction gets the call when it comes to the hard jobs. Underground projects that are genuinely difficult, like deep installs, tough ground conditions, or tight urban sites. So remember, when it's a hard job, the list gets short, and GS Construction is on it. Want to tackle the hard jobs? We're looking for experienced pipe layers and topmen. Visit gsconstruction.ca today. Summer weekends in Alberta mean one thing: tournament season.
I brought the folding chairs. I brought the sunscreen. I brought the umbrella, just in case.
But who brought the snacks to get through a doubleheader?
I got Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, the ultimate sideline fuel. Whether you're cheering on the kids or watching the pros, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Love Pro Wrestling. It's the only place you'll find lumberjacks, short kings, mad lads, and a high-flying goose. LPW 50, no regrets, hits the Rec Room South Edmonton Comet Friday, July 31st. See LPW Grand Champion T.Y. Jackson face his toughest challenge, God's Gift to Wrestling, MRB. Whether it's a family outing, date night, or drinks with friends, check out Edmonton's wildest party at Love Pro Wrestling. Tickets available now at tixart.com/lovewrestling.
Not sure where to turn? Remember 211, the number to contact for mental health, addiction, and community supports. It's free, confidential, and available 24/7. 211 Alberta. One number, countless connections.
A message from the government of Alberta. Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
Sports 1440. All sports, all day.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Thanks for listening to Edmonton's sports leader.
$7:42. Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show here on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Tom this week as he enjoys a little vacation time off. Eddie Steele alongside Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick in studio as well. Get in on the conversation with us. Our text line 1-833-401-1440. We will get to those as the morning progresses. But right now, let's welcome in our headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing, because your pipes take a beating on game day too. Ready for overtime, even when your plumbing isn't. Mr. Rooter.ca as we welcome in Edmonton Elks wide receiver TJ Luther to the show for the first time. TJ, thanks a lot for coming on with us this morning. Really appreciate it. And congrats on a big performance and a big win rewind into last Thursday night in Saskatchewan.
Hey. Thank you, man. Thank you guys for having me, man. Appreciate it.
You bet. So TJ, let's start with that game in Saskatchewan, which not only here in Edmonton, but across a lot of the league is getting some recognition as probably the game of the year so far. Two really good football teams going blow for blow, and you played a really big role in it with some big catches in big moments. What did you make of your guys' overall performance in that game, and then kind of funnily enough, a chance to go right back at it against the same club this coming Saturday at Commonwealth?
Yeah, man, it felt good, man. The offense had got things clicking, and it just felt good to be able to help the defense out this week, and able to be able to hit their defense with counterattacks, man. It definitely felt good doing that.
Hey, TJ, I just want to ask about some of the chemistry that you've developed with Cody Fajardo here. You were a newcomer coming up. You actually stole some jobs in training camp, and, that's the reality of pro football, forced a couple of guys to get cut. How have you developed with Cody to turn into one of his primary guys, especially in clutch moments?
It kind of just happened, man. That kind of comes with trust and then just making plays, man. So I just appreciate Cody. I just appreciate Cody for really just trusting me and giving me a chance.
First-year Elks receiver TJ Luther, our guest here on the Tom Gazzola Show. Brandon Douglas, Eddie Steele with us. So, TJ, this is the first time you've been on with us, and we kind of want to take the chance to get to know you, the person and the player, a little bit more. Starting with going back to your time in high school, growing up in Florida, moving on to play at both Wolford and then Gardner-Webb. What was that like for you growing up? Was it always football all the way for you? Did you play a lot of sports growing up through high school, or was it football from day one?
Yeah, so I've always been a football guy. I grew up playing football since I was 5. Kind of came from a football family. All my brothers played football. I have 8 brothers and 1 sister. So
wow.
Yeah, we all grew up playing football together. And there's been a big football family. And I've actually been the first one to go to college and graduate college for my family. So
wow, good for you.
That's been a big thing for me. But yeah, Wofford and Gardner-Webb, they treated me well. And I appreciate them. And yeah, it went good. It went good in college. I had a great college career.
And after that, you go undrafted, but you do land in over the course of a couple different years with a number of NFL teams, which, I mean, you were always on teams' radar. They were interested in you, but could never quite crack the full-time roster, some practice squads, reserve and stuff, but you got to, check in with a lot of different teams, see some different schemes and whatnot. Like, how did that help you develop as a player, getting the chance to, bounce around a little bit and kind of see the game from a few different perspectives, different coaching staffs and things like that?
Yeah, man, it definitely grew my experience and everything, seeing how different players work in different opposites, and just seeing the play style, seeing the play style, and really soaking in all the information that I can get from it. But I definitely say it was definitely humbling, and just going through it and just trying to put my best foot forward in that situation. But it definitely I couldn't ask for a better situation, man. It happened the way it happened, for sure.
Exactly. And I know you didn't spend a ton of time in each spot necessarily, but did you have a favorite stop in some of those practice squad gigs, between the Jets, Pats, Steelers, Packers, and Panthers before making your way up here?
Yeah, I did have a favorite. Carolina Panthers was my favorite because actually my fiance was stationed in Charlotte at the time, so I was able to be able to spend time with her and play ball at the same time. So yeah, that probably was my favorite spot right there.
Awesome.
So TJ, now you're up in the CFL. You're well established. You got, I want to say, about 450 passing yards, I believe, right in there. 447. Yeah. What was some of the biggest changes coming from American ball, smaller field, coming up to the CFL, where you have the waggle you can utilize, where the field is as big as a cow pasture, so the routes are a bit different on the route tree? What were some of the changes that you had to adjust to?
Some of the changes I've definitely had probably adjust to was the waggle, man. But I like the waggle. It's definitely a advantage to the offense once you learn it. But the waggle is pretty big. I'm used to being stationary, coming out of my route, counting steps and things like that. So that probably was like the biggest thing. But once I got used to the waggle and everything, everything kind of fell in place. Also the 12 man, an extra man on the field. So yeah, trying to figure out who to block, the schemes, this all that comes into play.
With the waggle, do you really enjoy being able to get that full running head start downhill? Because you're right, it is such a tool that you can use against the DBs. It is so hard to cover a guy who's coming full sprint at you. Is that something that you really enjoy, being able to craft and shape your routes behind?
Oh, most definitely, man. Most definitely. It kind of feels like you're getting a second level release on every DB, and you really don't have to really worry about too much to press. So yeah, that's definitely been a big advantage for me. I like coming off the waggle and showing them what we have.
TJ Luther from the Edmonton Elks, wide receiver, our guest here on the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. So TJ, last week was your biggest so far, grabbing 10 at 12. Against the Riders, but you've been very involved heavily in the past games since making your debut in week one, anywhere between 4 and 7 targets each game. So what really stood out to me in the game against Saskatchewan was, as Eddie mentioned, Cody Fajardo, going to you in some big moments. Is that something that you really relish as a receiver, kind of the guy that your quarterback or your teammates are looking to in big spots to come up with big plays, even though it is just your first year in this league and with this team?
Yeah, I mean, every receiver want to be that guy towards the end of the game to get the ball, most definitely. But I feel like the ball kind of just finds the energy, and finds the open man. Cody been making real nice decisions right there in the back, the ball finds the right man in the right time. So I just feel like he just been playing ball, and it kind of just been falling my way for right now. So yeah, definitely.
And you're not the biggest guy, right? You're listed at 5'11", just under 190 pounds. So you're not small, but you're not one of the bigger guys out there. I've really appreciated your ability to hold onto the ball through contact, and I think that was on full display in that SAS game once again. Has that always been an element to your game, and are you the type of receiver that craves some of that contact? You like the chance to get out and block at times as well in some of the run game and stuff? Do you enjoy that element to the game as a receiver?
Yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely. Anytime I can get a chance to touch the ball, man, I enjoy the game, man. Most definitely. So I can. Yeah, man, that's definitely been that's definitely been a toolbox in my toolbox that I haven't was able to show in previous teams. So yeah, this team definitely was able to be able to put that on full display. So yeah, that's definitely, it went well.
TJ, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the history surrounding this organization, but let's be honest, brother, the past 5-6 years, we're not accustomed to seeing the Double E start 6-1. They've not been playing the best football, but now they have the right people in place. I used to play defense. I played on the D line for the Edmonton Eskimos back in the day. And what I have seen and heard continuously interviewing different defensive players all offseason on Elks Nation is the love that this locker room has, the way that they care about each other from the top down, Coach Killam to Cody Fajardo, the way everybody is rowing in the same direction. From your perspective, a newcomer to the CFL, and you're on the offensive side of the ball, do you notice that this locker room is different in the sense that you guys truly are playing for each other and you love each other on a different level?
Mm-hmm. Most definitely, man. You get that feeling when you first walk in, man. You see DBs talking with O linemen and D linemen talking with receivers. Like, it's everywhere. Like, everyone's trying to build that bond. Everyone's trying to come close to getting to know their teammates, talking with them. Like, most definitely, man. I definitely feel the love inside the building, man. The building, we got something great and special in there, man. Everybody's definitely on the same page and trying to get to the same goal. So, yeah, I definitely feel the relationships and everything in there building up.
TJ Luther with us here from the Edmonton Elks, wide receiver Brandon Douglas, Eddie Steele in studio at Sports 1440. So, TJ, you've kind of, like I said, we're 8 weeks into the season. I guess 9 of you count the bye. You've got a little bit of consistency going in your game. Landing in Edmonton as your first stop here in the Canadian Football League, I want to ask you about some off-the-field stuff too, but starting with on the field. We talked about your growing relationship with Cody Fajardo and the chemistry there, but how have you felt the impression of everything from the top down, as Eddie said, from Chris Morris up at the top, and then obviously Ed Hervey and your coaching staff headed by Mark Killam down on the sidelines too? How has that all been as a transition for you?
It's been great, man. I love the staff, man. The staff, everybody's love and welcoming. Everybody's outgoing. So I really love the staff, man, from the top to the bottom. Everybody's showing love. Everybody's making sure everyone is inclusive and in it. So, yeah, man, I appreciate Edmonton for sure.
And so then off the field, what have you made of both the city and you've got a chance to see a few different road locations early going too, heading out east a couple times, obviously out to BC where you played in Kelowna instead of Vancouver for that kind of unique situation with the World Cup. So both here in our city and across the rest of the country, what have you made of it all so far?
It's a beautiful city, man. Beautiful city, especially, man. I like the Vancouver. Vancouver, that was a sight to see. Mm-hmm. I've never seen that many mountains. I'm from Florida, so everything's kind of flat there. So, yeah, man, that definitely was a sight to see, man. It's a beautiful city. And have good food. I love the food out here, too, as well. So
right on. You've been enjoying all the extra rain that we've seen you've been getting. This is one of the wetter summers in recent memory so far. I don't know if you brought it up with you from Florida or what, TJ.
Well, I'm used to Florida, so Florida around this time it's a hurricane season, so it's about the same. It's about the same, so yeah.
Hey, so TJ, you guys got the Riders on deck Saturday afternoon, 5:00 here at Commonwealth. Obviously, they're going to try and give you a serious counterpunch based off of the game that you guys had last week. You're going to get their best effort. In terms of the film, was there a lot to still be corrected from the game when you guys watched and reviewed the film last time you played them?
Oh, we haven't even reviewed the film yet. But
Coach was nice to you boys.
I'm quite sure there's something on there that we definitely have to improve on and definitely have to get better on, and we're gonna come at them even better than we came at them the first time. So
Coach gave the boys a couple days off, huh, TJ?
Hey, man, we needed it.
Hey, you earned it. First and foremost, you boys earned it, man.
Did you get up to anything with a little bit extra time, TJ? I've seen some of your teammates were taking in the concert at Commonwealth on Friday night. Did you get up to any of that or anything else over the weekend with a little bit of spare time?
No, I ain't really do none of that. I went bowling with the guys.
Nice.
Kind of play the video game a little bit, but Yeah, man, I heard about the concert. I heard it got poured down.
Oh man.
Crazy concert.
Crazy. Last one for me for you, TJ, and this is a little bit of a personal one as well, where we know you as TJ. That's what you've been going by since coming up here and joining the club. But your Wikipedia page tells me that your first name is Tyrese. So was TJ a nickname you latched onto pretty early? Is it junior? Is it a middle name? Where does that come from?
Yeah, so TJ comes from my first and my middle name, Tyrese, right, and then Javon is my middle name. Awesome. So they kind of put those two together, the first initials out of those two names, and came up with TJ.
Perfect. That'll fit in here in Edmonton because that's a hockey type nickname if I've ever heard one. Keep it as simple as possible. Yeah, they didn't just add a Y or an S to the end of your name. That's the go-to when it comes to hockey nicknames on our side of the border. Matt, TJ, really appreciate your time this morning. Thanks so much for jumping on with us. Great to get to know you a little bit, and we look forward to seeing your continued progress and development as an important part of this Green and Gold Football Club here in Edmonton. Have a great week of prep, and we're looking forward to Saturday afternoon.
Appreciate you, man. Y'all have a great one.
You as well. TJ Luther, Tyrese Javon Luther, wide receiver with the Edmonton Elks, and our headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing, batting 1,000 against clogs. That's mrrooter.ca. And I have to think Mr. Rooter probably pretty busy after Saturday. Josh was showing us some videos of some pipes blowing up here in the parkades around the mall, pouring everywhere. You get to see those almost like geyser type things shooting out of the floor all over the city at Commonwealth. Once everyone had departed the main field at the concert, as we were kind of discussing with TJ there briefly too.
Do you think it's just because social media nowadays that we're seeing all this flooding? Because it feels like everything is flooding lately. Has it been like this normally in the past? I don't recall.
I don't know what to tell you, Eddie. I'm kind of oblivious to a lot of that stuff unless it's happening. Like I just live in my own little bubble sometimes, where even if I see it on socials, I'm seeing these videos of underpasses completely flooded. And it's in Edmonton.
Yeah.
And to me, it might as well be on the other side of the world. I'm just and even I think it was last weekend or two ago when I went to a Sunday Riverhawks game, and another one of these just cells, as you educated us, rolled through. And I'm driving through it, and I'm seeing the flooding starting to happen in real time on the streets. I'm just this is no problem. Just cruise on through and get home, and just pretend like nothing is happening.
Where are you at with people stopping under an underpass because they don't want the hail to hit their vehicle?
Grow up.
Grow up, man.
Grow up.
Are you kidding me? You're going to make me stop because you're under the underpass?
It's unsafe.
It's so unsafe.
It's brutal.
That's bad driving.
When we return, Mark Spector will be with us for On the Mark. But before that, let's get to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. Your one-stop shop for all things welding. AWSwelding.ca. Here is Donovan Paulson.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Over the weekend, off the diamond, the Red Sox making the first real deal of deadline season, swapping 24-year-old lefty Connolly Early for breakout infielder Curtis Mead, who's got more homers this year than the prior 3 seasons of his career combined. The Bo Sox also beat up on the Jays 6-1. The Rays blanked the Guards 1-0. The Braves sneaking past the Orioles 3-2 in extras. The Pirates topped the Cubbies 8-7. And the Phillies dumpstered the Yankees 11-4. CFL action over the weekend. Ticats falling 31-18 to the Owls. College football GM Michael Lombardi has been placed on leave by North Carolina. Coming up right after the break, it's Sportsnet's Mark Spector. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. Stop in and see us today. 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Kickoff is coming August 1st. Elks, Rough Riders at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. The prehistoric party is back, presented by Purelator Tackle Hunger. Experience family-friendly fun all game long with a dinosaur-themed contest. Get your tickets at goelks.com/tickets.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. Then a volunteer gave me a medal. But I don't want participation trophies, unless they're from Bet365. With their daily prize matcher game, I win by matching gold coins, cherries, and more. Take that, Denim Man. Thanks, Bet365.
Must be 18 or older. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. T's and C's apply.
You're in charge of ordering boxes. Small boxes, really big boxes. You're in charge of tape, labels, mailers, bubble wrap, extra bubble wrap, just for fun. You're in charge of warehouse cleaning and safety supplies. Good thing there's Uline. Thousands of quality products for your business and warehouse needs, always in stock, ready to ship same day, and backed by Uline's legendary 24/7 customer service. Uline makes it easy because you already do enough. Uline, we warehouse for you.
The Tom Gazzola Show with guest host Brandon Douglas on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we're here to stay.
Eric Bieniemy's wife. Just after 8 o'clock, welcome back into the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440, presented by Bet365. Check out Bet365, early payout for baseball. When your team goes up by 5 runs, you get paid out immediately. No stress about blowing a big lead. Download the app and see what early payouts all about. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Tommy G this week. Eddie Steele alongside. We got Donovan Paulson and Josh Fenwick in studio as well. 8 o'clock means it is time for On the Mark, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Is employee pricing really a good deal? Yes. Yes, it is. This month, shop at Northgate and pay what they pay all month at northgategm.com. We welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Spec, good morning. How was your week?
Going, boys.
What'd you find yourself getting up to? Did you batten down the hatches Saturday night out at the lake?
Yeah, I got a scared dog out here that seems to be every night there's all this thunder and lightning.
I cannot even imagine.
The dog or you?
Yeah, right.
Spec like
hey, we've had some pretty dry summers here for about 5 or 6 years, but we're getting paid back this year, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we sure are.
Yeah, coming down by the bucketful, it seems at times, where it was that run of hot weather and stuff, and it seemed like it wanted to storm every evening. And I think a few places did see some, but then it all comes to a big literal cloud head on like what we saw on Saturday. Some pretty scary scenes from both at Commonwealth. I know we managed to get, like, I was at the Riverhawks game. We got out of the bleachers in time onto the concourse before it really started to come down. But man, by all accounts, at least nothing that I've seen, anybody got hurt or anything like that, which is honestly borderline a miracle when you see stuff like that come through and there's 60,000 people crammed into Commonwealth Stadium and stuff like that.
Wow. Like, I don't know how many people, was it a full house in there for the second show?
I have to think so. I can't imagine. I can't imagine it wouldn't have been. So,
like, I don't know how you get 25 or more thousand at each one of those concourses.
Well,
in
that's
that old stadium, man.
That's just it, right? Specs. I was saying to Eddie earlier, like at the Riverhawks game, enough people had better foresight than me and my friends, where they'd already taken off because they could see the storm coming. So in the bottom of the 8th inning, there was probably, instead of 7,000 people trying to cram into the concourse at Remax, there was maybe half that, not quite, which is still a lot, but the concourse can hold that many people. At Commonwealth, like, even if a third of the people leave, it's still like you're trying to fit every single person onto that one single level concourse, essentially. And maybe they opened up some of the and underground areas just to get people out of them and shelter them a little bit. I have no clue. But man, I would have not wanted to be down there on Saturday night. That's for sure. So
yeah, and then you got to get a ride out of there after.
Yeah,
like they cancel the concert. Do you get your money back? I hope you do. I assume you do. I assume the promoter has some kind of insurance on that because
right.
he's got to pay the bands and pay for the stadium and everything because they all delivered. But he's probably got to refund everybody. Listen, listen, you take your chances. I suppose it's just been a goofy summer. Every time we get a hot day, you're enjoying a hot day, but you're thinking, oh man, I hope my car doesn't get wrecked by hail tonight.
Yeah. And it's kind of like we're at that point of the summer where it's pretty dog days right now. Spec, we're a week away from the MLB trade deadline. Donovan had it in the update, kind of the first hammer to fall with the Red Sox pulling off a deal. We expect the Jays to be active, but is there anything else like catching your eye? Like, are you watching the Jays over the weekend still, or have you written them off? Are you checking in on your Cubbies more regularly, some CFL games? What's keeping you busy on the sporting front right now?
Well, I did watch Dylan Cease pitch for Toronto, and he's really delivered. Like, there's a free agent signing in the summer that this guy, he's a Cy Young candidate. He's been unbelievable. I'll watch my Cubbies play because half the time you turn the Jays on, they're down 8-1.
Yeah.
And everyone, this is where the CFL thrives for me. Like, this is where, there's a game on every night. Calgary, I'm watching Calgary's offense. They put up a ton of points again against Winnipeg. Like, they got it figured out offensively in Calgary, that's for sure. Obviously, the Elks game, what was that, last Thursday? So, I'm watching. You know what? It's summer. It's actually a good time that there's not that much on TV because you don't want to be glued to a TV all summer long. There's lots going on here.
That's a good answer.
It's true.
That's actually
right?
a really good answer.
You gotta find ways to unplug because especially for someone like you, Spec, that's at the rink every day and plugging away. And you always say you don't want anybody to feel sorry for you. You're working a pretty fun and cool job and all that jazz, but it's still a job and you need a little time to decompress, which is what the summer's for if you're a hockey writer and, us trying to cover as much as everything we can in here, but it's a slower time of the season. Watch what you can to stay up to date, but otherwise get outside, touch some grass, play some golf, stuff like that.
Yeah, right. So slow that Tom Gazzola's already taken time off. He just joined the station like 3 days ago. What the heck?
The thing about Tommy is he's very observant, and in a short period of time, he'd kind of got wins about what the situation is with you're the host of the morning show. He's just following in Carius's very grand footsteps. He's like, oh, I got to take a holiday. I got to get out of here. And he's been here 3 weeks, goes off every week. He'll come back and work for a few more weeks and then take another holiday. He's just following the trend. He's doing what is expected of him.
Yeah, as expected. Spec, I got to ask you this. Go on, Spec.
Go ahead. No, that's okay. Go ahead, Eddie.
I was just going to ask you, just breaking down the Jays a little bit more because me, I would love to talk CFL all day, every day, but there are some other sports going on at the moment, and the Jays would be considered Canada's baseball team. Do you feel like this season is more or less just a write-off due to maybe some World Series hangover, very similar to what the Oilers had dealt with, except the only difference is the Oilers superstars typically step up and deliver year over year, where that's just not the case with Vladdy?
No, I don't think I don't think you can say we went to one World Series and now we're tired and we're worn out. And so you played, what did they play for playoffs? Did they play 18 or 20 extra baseball games last spring? First of all, it's baseball. It's not as playoff baseball isn't that much different than regular season baseball, the way playoff hockey is. Playoff hockey, you're beating the hell out of yourself every second night. You're blocking shots. It's just not the same thing. They did it 1 year in a row, not two.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the Panthers and the Oilers, they both kind of teams hit a wall last year, and I think we can see why. No, I'm not with you, Eddie. I don't think you can say as a baseball team, we made one run and now we're tired. Like, that's not, come on. Really?
But is there
emotional though?
That's what I was going to say. Is there anything more to the, you're an out away, and just like the Oilers were a goal away from sending it to overtime in Game 7. Now the Oilers came back and went right back to the finals the year after. But not every team is built the same, and circumstances matter. So is there anything more to the emotional side of you show back up in the next spring and say, time for another 162 games just to get a chance to try and duplicate that come season.
I don't know. Get over it. Like,
it's
it's a hard way to lose.
It
right?
is.
Sure, it's a hard way to lose.
They're
They should have won.
What they're paid to do is to be able to overcome those type of adversities and get right back in the saddle. Like, they're pretty well compensated to try and do that, especially a guy like Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Yeah, like that Toronto team had, at my recollection, there was about 4 or 5 at bats they had that could have won the World Series for them. And none of them produced the hit they needed to win the World Series. And they ended up losing in the end. And it was too bad. And we all bled through the whole thing for them. And we all watched every pitch, and it was hard. And, for sure, that's hard to get. You don't just wake up the next day and flush that loss. Like, it takes a while, but it can't last for 10 or 12 months if you're a professional. You can't blame Vlad Guerrero's season on the one at bat he probably had in that game that he didn't deliver on. He delivered all spring. Or all fall. He had a great playoff run. He was their MVP. And I'm sure there was an at bat near the end of that last game that he could have a hit or certainly a double or a homer would have won the game for him. So he didn't get it. But you can't tell me that loss is why he's had the season he's had this year. You can't tell me that the Jays team they're tired. Nah, come on. I mean, at least I don't know, the Dodgers look tired. Dodgers don't look tired. No, I don't buy that.
My thought isn't even necessarily so much that they look tired. It's more like Duke said, it's the emotional. For example, I know when I won the Grey Cup in 2015, you're a fat, happy cat, and you come into the next season, we're the head honcho and everybody's got to come and see us. And you're maybe not putting out the best, most desperate effort every night. And you kind of get a little bit of lax and complacent. And that's where I'm thinking with the Jays. Maybe they got a little complacent. Oh, we got there. This is easy to get there. And I think maybe they thought they could hit the ground running again, but that's just not the case. And that's what makes the Oilers actually very impressive, is the fact that they were able to compartmentalize. They had some ups and downs that following season after they got to that first Cup final, but they still were able to get themselves back. And that's actually very impressive, because that's hard to do, because there is a letdown. There's no denying. There is an emotional letdown. It might not be physical, but it's hard to ramp yourself back up to get to that point in place again.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not saying it's easy, and you're right. Like, give the Oilers credit. They did what they did. Unfortunately for them, they didn't win either time, but they got to 2 cups, and, go back through history. Or how many teams get to 2 cups in a row? Not many. But I mean, I guess I just say, guys, it's 162 games. So sure, maybe you have a rough April, May, and then you snap out of it. I can't buy. Oh, we came close and missed out, and now our entire next season's a write-off. I just can't buy it. There's too many guys that are all professionals. Springer's had a brutal year. Like, this guy's a veteran pro guy here, right? He's a good player, and he hasn't had a good year. Go through their lineup. There's a bunch of players here that are all solid pros. Like, I don't know. I think it's an excuse. That's what I think. It's an excuse to blame this season on last season for the Jays. Make at least 2 runs in the row before you start talking to me about being mentally tired. But one run in a row, that's not enough. Sorry.
Yeah, listen, Spec, I don't think you'll get much of an argument from me, because I'm with you. If it was early season going and you're going through these trials and tribulations, you're kind of shaking the rust off, getting the fog out from behind your eyes as you embark on a new campaign. Sure. But here we are at the end of July. The team's not going to make the playoffs. They're going to sell off a couple pretty key pieces here in this next week, or at least we expect them to. I'm with you that it just comes across as an excuse. And I don't know if have they tried to use it as one, really, or are we as the fans just frustrated with their effort on a near day-to-day basis, trying to create some ideas instead of just saying, listen, they're having a bad year. It's not their season, and so be it. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet guest with us here on the Tom Gazzola Show, Brandon Douglas sitting in, Eddie Steele alongside. Now, the one piece of NHL news that's floating out there, Spec, that I wanted to get your take on is the Kirill Marchenko situation in Columbus. Aaron Portzline, great reporter, of course, with The Athletic, he's reporting that the team's not really fielding much in terms of trade calls on this guy. And when you look at his track record, scored 20 goals every season of his career, 21, 23, 31, 27 last year, 67-point guy, 74 the year prior. Now, he comes with a pretty decent price tag and some risk coming up as a RFA next year. Is it a little bit of just skepticism on ability to get him re-signed that you think is scaring teams away, or why is there not more of a market for this player right now?
That's a good. I mean, that to me, what's he making right now?
Just 3.85, but it's the last year of that deal.
Right. So,
and he'll have arbitration rights as well. So,
well, that's okay. I mean, I feel like if I'm a GM signing Karamarchenko and I get permission from Columbus, I want to try to figure out a new deal now. I mean, the guy's a genuine, he's pretty much a 30-goal guy. He's on a bad team. He's like you say, he scored 23, 31, 27. Last 2 seasons, he's at 74, 67 points. I think I know what I'm getting. He's 26 years old. He's a right winger who's
big guy.
Can put the puck away.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
so that's just what makes it more confusing to me about why there's if Portsland says teams aren't, making many calls, checking interest on him, have previous calls told them that the asking price is simply too high?
Yeah.
You can add a genuine 25-goal man, you would think minimum, for less than $4 million in one season. And another year just before the cap jumps up, where there's still some teams under a little bit of financial pressure against the roof. Man, this seems like it would be a good fit, even if there is the risk of maybe losing him at season's end.
Well, I mean, how much? I guess the combination is this. What am I giving Columbus for him? Am I giving him my 2 best young prospects? And then what does this guy want next season? Does he want 13 or 14 million bucks? Like, I don't know the answer to that, but the cost at both ends might be scaring teams off. The cost that Columbus wants for him and that his agent's asking for him, maybe that's why they're not fielding. And unfortunately for Columbus, if they're first of all, I guess I'd say to you, why is Columbus trading this guy?
Well, I think it's because he doesn't have much interest in hanging around, right? Isn't that the genesis of this going back? He's an
RFA. They control him, don't they? Control him. So
even if it goes to arbitration, he's back for 1 or 2 more years anyway. But I mean, sure, he walks himself to UFA. But if you're the Jackets and you're kind of interested in this turnaround and new identity, do you want a player that's 1 foot out the door already being a part of that, or do you want a clean slate with players that want to be there?
I mean, I don't know what they're doing in Columbus. They're just recycling through good players now, right? Like now you've got a guy you drafted that's really good and he's turning into what you thought he'd be. And now you're such a bad team for this long that he wants out. Like that's all we ever hear about Columbus is this guy wants out, Werenski wants out. Like they're at that point that Buffalo got to where they're into the cycle of the next generation where they're terrible. So they get high draft picks. They draft the right guy. They bring him along, but they're still terrible. And now that guy wants out. So, you know what? I don't know what's going on. It's hard don't ask me to predict what's happening in Columbus because they sure as heck don't know. Right. Columbus has been garbage, not garbage, but they've just been a very poor team for such a long time. And like I say, now look at, Werenski's talking about wanting out. Marchenko, they're good players, man. If you can't keep those guys, you're never going anywhere. What are you going to recycle Marchenko into a 21-year-old kid like Ike Howard who hasn't done it yet and you hope he can? If I'm a decent team, I'm hanging on to Marchenko and I'm winning with him, aren't I?
Yeah.
One would think.
That would be the smart philosophy. I would agree with that.
What are you going to get, a guy that's better?
Probably not.
No.
Like I said, the trade is probably one that's for prospects and or draft picks. And you're just starting over. Like you said, the cycle just resets.
Yeah, the spin cycle keeps going in Columbus. Like, I don't know,
and
we're all sitting here going, geez, I wonder why this is weird in Columbus. Well, everything's weird in Columbus. They don't, I question how much they know what they're doing out there after 30 years of being a totally below average team. Now we're moving Marchenko. I mean, I guess so. Might as well. He's a 30-goal player. I wouldn't want him around.
No. Why would you?
Spec. So we're making the big push. Commonwealth, Saturday, 5 p.m. We are trying to sell out the lower bowl. Do you think it can be done? Saskatchewan's coming to town. Edmonton 6-1, best team in the CFL. Do you think it is possible to sell out the lower bowl on Saturday?
Yeah, the Watermelon Heads are going to give you a good 10,000 tickets, aren't they?
Should.
I mean, Rough Rider fans will be there like crazy. Yeah, absolutely. Is that what the lower bowl is, Eddie? Is it 30,000?
31 to 33-ish, maybe. It kind of fluctuates times. I don't know.
Okay. I think that's totally reasonable. It's a long weekend. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. Let's figure that out these days. But you've got your highest drawing opponent in town. You know, it's a back-to-back. You can't have a better Elks team than you got right now. They totally have created a buzz. That game on last Thursday is still one of the best, most exciting football games anyone's seen in a long, long time. So this is the time. I think I think we talked about this. Like, they finally earned. We kind of, in the past, Eddie, we've talked about, hey, let's get some people out to support this group, and it's almost like charity because they haven't deserved it. Well, now they deserve it, and they've earned it. They've earned a big crowd, and they've earned the hype we give them. And all this talk we do on this sports station about the Elks now, they deserve it because there's something real there. And I hope that they get what they deserve. Like, I'd love to see 30,000 in there. Let's stop trying to beat 20,000 in the CFL. Let's get her back up to 30,000 around here for sure.
Exactly. And the reality is they have earned it. 6-1. They're exceeding every expectation. I thought this team was going to be good, but at 6-1, best team in the league. You know what? I've been on a part of some good teams, fellas. I've never been 6-1. Wow. It's a really good start this team has. So it's time for people to lay the excuses down and get back to supporting this winning football club.
There you go, boys.
Last thing for you, just wanted to give you a little kudos, a little praise on Friday after you were on with Eddie and Tom. I got the tweet out that the final numbers were in for this year's Mark Spector Golf Classic. Another rousing success. Some fun content filmed by Mackenzie and Donovan down there on our front, which was great. But over $140,000 this year, all in support of Sports Central. So awesome work to you and the whole team that helps you put on this great event. You spelled it out here. Hundreds of kids, some free sports gear, bikes for the upcoming season, and now at $1.8 million total. Raised for Sports Central with the Spec Classic annual charity tournament.
Yeah, and we just moved into a new building this summer out by in the West End. It's behind. Remember the old Denny Andrews American Bar out there, right behind there, and about I'm going to say 103rd and 173rd. If anyone's out there and they're driving around, go stop in, say hello, take a look at our new digs. It's unbelievable.
Awesome.
And thanks to everybody, man. We had a really good summer, raised some money, and now we're going to take a little break and get back after it in September. Brandon.
How did Eddie play at your tournament?
I didn't even play.
Oh, you were just there shaking hands. Putting Donovan on the spot to get some tee shots into the lake.
It was good. I really actually enjoyed hanging with that Sports Central crew and, just trying to raise the money. What we had was a little bit of a fun game where people paid some money, of course, to pull a tab and they would get a prize.
Nice.
And I believe they sold out of every tab pulled. So again, it's all to the good cause, generating some good revenue. And I actually have a couple of bikes I got to bring on down Spec. So you'll be getting my donation soon.
There you go, baby.
Are these going to be man, like that giant front wheel, and then you just like it's the equivalent to Carius dropping off his like plywood plank skis from 1935.
They were joking about his skis actually out there. It was brought up. Like,
the giant front wheel, like the one they used to ride in the 30s.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Eddie's got kicking around in his garage. He couldn't get rid of it, Spec. You never know when the right collector might come along. He couldn't get rid of it before. Spec, good stuff as always. Thanks for this. We will chat with you tomorrow morning. Have a good one.
All right, boys.
Mark Spector on the mark, powered by Northgate. This truck's for you, northgategm.com. We will step aside when we return. We'll catch up on the text line. Lots of good ones coming in, talking Elks, talking Jays, talking a little potpourri and miscellaneous, plus some updates from people that were at Commonwealth on Saturday night when the storm rolled in. So we'll provide a little context and some awareness on that front too. It's Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in, Eddie Steele, Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick, all alongside. You can watch the show. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitch, and it's brought to you by Bet365.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey, Culligan. I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
Say hello to Alberta's home for reeling and dealing. With Play Alberta, you can spin into the excitement of popular slots like Cash Eruption and Desert Fantasy. Experience Alberta exclusive games and get in on the action of live dealer tables with all new elevated stakes. However you prefer to play, the fun is ready when you are. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
The Bricks 55th Birthday Bash continues with big savings store-wide. Save on furniture, mattresses, appliances, and electronics. Plus, take 55 months to pay with 0% interest on furniture and mattresses, or 36 months on appliances and electronics on approved credit. Find up to 30% off bedroom packages, up to 40% off select mattresses, and don't forget, you could be one of 275 winners, with over $155,000 in prizes to be won. Hurry in, the Birthday Bash ends July 29th at the Brick. Saving you more.
Get ready for a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. The Gene Simmons Band, performing your favorite classic hits. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Tickets on sale now at silenticecenter.com. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to robertsonbodyworks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
Here's what you need to know about Lux Windows. We work hard. We come in early, we stay late, we go above and beyond, and then we go a little further. Not for awards or a pat on the back. We work hard so that choosing our windows and doors is an easy decision for you. It's the Alberta way. It's the Lux way. Everything we are is windows and doors. A company born and bred and made in Alberta.
Caesars is Alberta's anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Stay in the action with your favorite teams and players. Whether you're camping, kayaking, or catching a show this summer, bet wherever you are, whenever you want. Plus, Caesars Sportsbook offers fast payouts and flex parlays, a new way to keep your bet alive even if a pick misses. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today.
Must be 18 or older and physically present in Alberta to gamble. Must be 21 or older to use Caesars Sportsbook. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. Please play responsibly.
You're listening to Sports 1440 and watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Sports 24/7. We are Sports 1440.
Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Does sitting in for Tommy this week. We got Eddie Steele in for the next half hour. We're just crawling across 8:30 here. Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick, both in studio as well. The text line 1-833-414-1440. It's been humming all morning. So let's catch up on some of them, Eddie, and some football ones included amongst the mixed, including Paul. Guys, any idea how ticket sales are looking for Saturday? Would really be something if some of the upper bowl gets opened up. So I am fully confident. I am. And I was a little over my skis to start this season where they won the first couple games. Home opener, bad weather, so it was a poor turnout. And then the next two where I was pretty underwhelmed with the turnout. And I kind of just had to say, like, all right, I'm being too overzealous, right? Like, this is going to take longer for this trust to rebuild and more of the fan base to return, plus generate new excitement amongst non-CFL, non-football fans. I get it. It's still just week 9 of the year, but man, what else is there to ask for? The 2 best teams, well, in the West anyway, rematch of just a week ago, which was the best game of the year. Weather currently, I believe, still looks pretty good. It's not that late. The only pushback that exists this weekend is that it's the long weekend. But unless you're jetting way away, like if you're just heading out to the lake and it's 45 or an hour out of the city, like 5 o'clock on Saturday afternoon to me still seems pretty conducive to be worth a trip back in to come see the game. And then, like, you got Monday off, you can head back out Saturday night or even Sunday morning and still have the second half of your weekend at the lake, at the cabin, whatever. So I believe there will be 30,000 people there on Saturday. I don't know if they will just leave it at, like, they'll sell out and say it's a sellout. I don't envision Upper Bowl getting opened up.
Yeah, in regards to the long weekend, that can work 2 ways. Yeah, sure, you can say that people are going to be out of town, but what about those that are out of town? It allows you the opportunity to come and spend some time in Edmonton.
And for like, we know how much the import from Saskatchewan comes for any game. Is the long weekend more conducive to more people coming? Like, instead of 5,000 people, is it 8?
Exactly.
Or if instead of 8, is it 10? Right? Because they can make a weekend out of it all of a sudden. You've still got, maybe on your way back out home, you stop and spend a day at the lake on your way home to wherever in Saskatchewan you reside, right? Like, I just think there's more flexibility this way. So I'm with you, Eddie. I see it as more of a positive, but I just think if someone were to push back on why they're not going, that would be the reason.
It's safe to say too, Duke, and I would love for the listeners to text in their opinions amongst their circles and people that they interact with. You can feel the momentum, right? You can feel like there is something rolling. Yes, they're 6-1, but this team is really starting to create a buzz, aren't they, Duke?
For sure. Well, I was talking about Josh with it on Saturday when we were in for the Triple S because I was off on Friday, the day after that game. And I listened to the morning show for the first hour on my way down to Devon to go play, caught the start of Gregor's show on the way back. And Josh said it like, we did not talk about the Oilers for essentially 11 hours on the station. And for once, and this has been a process of progress throughout this season since the start of it, where all of a sudden, when we're talking about this football team, it's not when we get influx of text messages or responses or vigor about it, it's not just about the name, which still is pertinent. There's still tons of people that take qualm there, but there's people actually interested in the game being played on the field week to week, which I think is a really encouraging sign for, once again, getting that draw back in and hopefully generating a new wave of fans and interested parties too.
They're putting out such a good product, right? Now, you've heard me, Duke, say this a million times, that winning solves everything.
We've been in lockstep on that, and that's why I thought to start the season, the initial turnout would be better than the 10,000 we saw in the first good weather home game.
People are buying back in, though, and that's just the reality of it. And, man, I don't care what you have to say about the name change. I have no time for that. And I'm an Eskimo through and through. My Grey Cup ring, once an Eskimo, always an Eskimo. It's engraved on the inside of the ring.
You got it tattooed on your butt.
Okay.
Sorry, just above your butt.
They weren't supposed to know, dude. Come on.
I believe the colloquial term is tramp stamp.
Bone. Minus
right
the ER.
Right
minus
on the
ER.
right on the small of your back, just capital letters. Bone.
But I have no time for the excuses of the name change. Sure, they might have lost you, but the reality is you only like the Eskimos because of the name, or did you like the Eskimos because of the championships they were winning?
Mm-hmm.
And this team is of championship caliber. I got no time for that anymore. And I used to be a big guy who had a lot of time for it. But this team is so far beyond the name change. This team is a winning football team now. Let's celebrate a winning football team.
Text line 1-833-414-40. This one came in from the real Duke, Eddie, and it's a challenge to you. Morning team. Yo, Eddie 85. With the Lemonator coming back, are you strapping on the pads? P.S. Show Max some earned respect. So that's Mad Max going back to our Scherzer.
Oh, yeah, Mad Max. A little bit of Aaron Donald in me, hey? Coming out of retirement. Man, I've been out for like 8 years. No way. Lemon had 2 sacks. coming out of retire. Well, I guess he wasn't retired, but
just hanging around.
Yeah, 2 sacks right off of the street. Pretty impressive. That jersey looked a little tight on him though. Looked like he'd been on the streets.
Oh my goodness. And then there was another one, Schwackheimer. Great 3 games of the CFL. Edmonton, Calgary, and Montreal. All great, exciting games. Onwards and up for the league. It's tough to disagree. And then maintenance man, the name people should be worried about is Edmonton. That's who we're cheering for. Edmonton's football team, Elk or an Eskimo, doesn't matter. It's about the city.
It's all about the city, about the wins. You're winning.
And then we'll finish with Army Daryl. Hashtag, or sorry, this is also, I expect to see you guys at the tailgate party. Next message, hashtag no excuses. Army Daryl, resend me your number because I've got every game this year. I've gotten there earlier than I think any game prior where I do have time to go for a spin through. I chatted with our buddy Reed Clark at his little setup. Man, what a setup RC has. So he's got the dogs going for everyone. He's got some cold drinks too, but like all the fixins.
Yes.
Right? Some jalapenos,
Everything
some
you
bacon,
need.
some cheese,
I've heard.
everything you want. So you got to go see Reed Clark and his setup. And Army Daryl says this week it's tandoori chicken.
Okay.
That could be a bold choice before cramping into the seats at Commonwealth, shoulder to shoulder for the next 3 hours.
No doubt.
Eddie, I'm worried about you in this situation.
And that thing, that tandoori chicken.
You're gonna be coming up and you dip into the press box pretending like you're just coming to say hi, but it's actually
crop
just
dusting.
heading into crop dusting, heading to the bathroom and leave an absolute steamer.
Well, that is a nice clean one in there.
Private.
Exactly.
Private too,
VIP.
BC Oiler, I still say you guys should make weekly spread picks on the CFL games. Hey, BC Oiler, listen, CFL action, it's all available on Bet365. I actually tailed Tommy G. I heard him on when I think he was chatting with either Gregor or Speck about how Tom had parlayed the 2 Western Canadian teams, the Prairie teams, because Edmonton won Thursday. He'd had that then with Calgary was 1.5 point favorites Friday night. I was like, this is a great line. I was all over that. And they cleaned it up. So, hey, BC Oiler, that's something you're interested in? We can certainly do that. I know in the past, Kevin and I would make some head-to-head NFL picks every week, and I think we're going to try and continue that in some capacity with both Tom and on the Frenzy. We can do that with the CFL too.
Always open.
The lines are out there for us to peruse and responsibly wager on. Some Oilers, no Oilers texts. Can you believe that? I'm so surprised. I'm spitting it out anyway. Some Blue Jays texts. We will get to those as the morning progresses. We'll catch up with Donovan maybe on that just after the 9 o'clock hour. But right after the break, we're going to go in or out with Donnie. He's cooked up a list. I haven't even looked at them yet. We'll have to do it in real time. We'll do it live, Eddie. When we return, in or out, Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick in studio along with Brandon Douglas and Eddie Steele sitting in on the Tom Gazzola Show. Watch it. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. It's brought to you by Bet365.
Recently, our company softball team lost a big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
Must be 18 or older. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. T's and C's apply.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
Okay, new strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at prosolutionsinc.ca. Everything is going to be okay. If you're feeling the weight of too much debt, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or a consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal will eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we've got your back.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Love Pro Wrestling. It's the only place you'll find lumberjacks, short kings, mad lads, and a high-flying goose. LPW 50, no regrets, hits the Rec Room South Edmonton Comet Friday, July 31st. See LPW Grand Champion T.Y. Jackson face his toughest challenge, God's Gift to Wrestling, MRB. Whether it's a family outing, date night, or drinks with friends, check out Edmonton's wildest party at Love Pro Wrestling. Tickets available now at tixart.com/Love Wrestling.
Barbecue season. Nothing like a great steak. Which reminds me, Nettle Supermarkets has even created custom grill tops for rusted old barbecues. Just one of the many special requests they've received over the years. You'll be amazed what their skilled crew can do. Barbecue grills to grills for classic cars. Sky's the limit. Speaking of sky, that's a lot of smoke up there. And fire in the hole. My steak. So long, sirloin. Metal Supermarkets, the local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Turn up the volume for a night of rock classics with Jersey Boulevard, the tribute to Bon Jovi and Journey, live November 7th at Pure Casino Yellowhead's Pearl Showroom. Feel the energy of legendary hits like Living on a Prayer and Don't Stop Believing. Performed with powerhouse vocals and authentic stage presence. Tickets from just $32.50. Get yours now at Ticketmaster. Don't miss Jersey Boulevard, the tribute to Bon Jovi and Journey, November 7th at Pure Casino. Pure entertainment, pure action, and pure imagination.
You're listening to Sports 1440 and watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Sports 24/7. We are Sports 1440.
Welcome back. 8:42 in Edmonton. It's the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440, brought to you by Bet365. Brandon Douglas in for Tommy today and the remainder of the week, but we got Eddie Steele alongside for 15 more odd minutes or so. And going into the last commercial break, Donovan Paulson on the ones and twos asked Eddie Steele, Eddie, what song do you want for your outro spot? On a Monday, he asked Eddie for a request. We're changing things up. It's now Playlist Monday around here, which is much to the chagrin of Cam on the text line. He said, good morning, BD. Missed you on Friday. Hey, Cam, I missed you all as well. Enjoying a little just staycation long weekend. Little bit disappointed. I requested a song. I was listening for quite a few hours, and I asked if he played it. No response. Disappointed. Thanks from Cam. Donovan, do you have a response?
I do have a response. Cam, it just got played. And you know what? That's a classic hand up, my bad. It's not like we got one text during the show. So bound to miss a few texts. That was one that I happened to miss. So hand up, my bad. I'm sorry, Cam. But it happens from time to time. So you got it on Monday.
You're only human.
Unacceptable.
It happens. We all miss them.
Unacceptable. Schwackhammer, anyone checking the sales for Saturday's game? Yet how many are sold? Get some momentum going. It's a big showdown in Big Sky. No, I haven't seen any word, Schwackhammer, but it's not something I normally keep tabs on. Listen, Eddie's challenged people. Milt Stiegel last Thursday in the post-game show challenged people. Luke Wilson has challenged people. The word's out there. man, like if you aren't going to this game but call yourself a football fan right now, I'm not sure the two can be connected.
You know what we need to do as a city? We need to make Deb Thompson, the owner now of the team, we need to make her open the second deck, open the upper deck.
And then I'll look up and I'll just see Eddie right in the very top row by himself,
sun sparkling off my head.
The sun shining off that dome of yours, which you've now taken that to grooming others as well. We'll wrap up our conversation with that story. But first, let's get to In or Out. It's brought to you by Pro Solutions. Need fast AC service? Pro Solutions offers expert repairs, tune-ups, and installs with flexible financing. Book your appointment now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
Okay, you know what? Moving too fast. Bottom line, are you in or you out?
In or out of what?
No time for questions, just action. In or out?
Well, then I'm out.
I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Are you in or are you out?
On Sports 1440.
I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob. We would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
Go get him, Donnie.
Alrighty, fellas. First up here, the first real trade of the MLB deadline season, which is, of course, the swap of Curtis Mead and Conley Early between the Red Sox and Nationals, is an absolute win-win, A grade for both sides.
Well, if I'm being very upfront about this, hadn't crossed my desk
Me neither.
until this morning when I heard it in your first Sports 1440 update. So if you just look at it from the simplest perspective of, does it address needs for both sides? And I think the answer is yes, right? Like, you have sellers, you have buyers. That separation is starting to become a little bit more clear. It's been very muddy so far in this post All-Star, even going into the All-Star break part of the schedule. But now we're getting some clearance. We're getting some ideas. Now, I still think there's a lot of teams that are undecided, and they might do a little bit of buying and a little bit of selling and not totally write off their chances of making a playoff push this year. But for these two clubs, yeah, at face value, I like it a lot. Maybe Donovan, as the resident expert on the specific trade, you can tell us why it's an AA, and then after hearing your argument, maybe Eddie and I can make a more informed decision.
So for both of these players, Curtis Mead is 25. He's under team control till 2030, and then Conley Early is 24, left-handed pitcher. So far in his career, like, he's young into his career, but he's got a career 3.24 ERA. He's 24. He's a lefty. Lots of upside, and he's under team control till 2031. So this isn't just some random deadline swap. This is one of these. This is a player for player, need for need exchange deal. The Nats were desperate for some pitching. The Red Sox were desperate for a little bit more thump. Curtis Mead having an absolute breakout season. A guy who, prior to this year, in his career, had, what am I looking at here? He had 5 home runs. This year he has 17. So this is an absolute breakout season. A former top prospect finally living up to his pedigree. And for Early, this is a guy who a lot of people had as a breakout candidate, but the Red Sox just simply had too much pitching. So I love this deal. These are two players going up in their trajectory. They're younger guys. It's not like you're trading, a young guy for an old guy here with 1 year left. This is, you got them both till at least 2030. I love this deal.
The Nats are in the hunt.
Yes.
Right? Like, they're a game back
and
of
they
the wild
pitching.
card.
They get a really nice young starter.
A very clear need for them is some pitching help. They get it. Lefty to boot. So, I don't know. The Mead thing, like, he's still a little unknown. Like, he's breaking out. Time will tell. I will say this, Donovan. On ESPN.com, the Nats get an A- according to this breakdown from whomever wrote this, Bradford Doolittle and David Schoenfield. The Red Sox get just a C. They don't like this for the Sox.
Some people like it for the Sox, some don't. I guess it comes out on where do you think Curtis Mead, the former top prospect, is actually for real and breaking out, or don't you? It depends. Some people have been as high as A. Some people have been as low as C-. It's kind of all over the spread. I think it's legit. I think he's for real. I'm usually inclined when I see a top prospect break out in any sport and have that finally first good season, I feel like it's just them figuring out how to unlock their potential. That's what this screams to me. It's just a guy who's got his opportunity and is finally figured it out. Like, there's all the signs of him figuring it out. All you need to do, in my opinion, is look at the on-base percentage prior to his earlier stretches of his career. Like, he's up to a 352 OBP, so he's actually learned how to walk and not chase as much. That's the big reason why I look at this and say he's finally figured it out.
Eddie, what about you? What do you say after hearing Donovan's breakdown?
In.
I love it.
That's all I got.
I love it. Well evaluated, Donovan.
Off to number 2 here, fellas. The Jacoby Brissett holdout. It's finally ended. To me, this is the funniest holdout in sports over the last decade.
I'm out.
Really?
Yeah, because I did a quick little digging here.
Yeah.
And I found one that's better. After being selected first overall, Jamarcus Russell held out.
My goodness. Oh my goodness.
Until he signed a 6-year, $68 million contract.
Theft.
Without playing a down in the NFL.
Theft.
Now, we all know what became of Jamarcus Russell. Wasn't great. All-time bust, self-destruction, have all been terms used to describe his pretty brief NFL career. So he walks away laughing because he is rich. The Raiders, I'm sure, felt a little done wrong by, a
Used
little
and
cheated.
abused.
So I'll take that because we have the benefit of hindsight on it. I'll say that is funnier than what's currently going on with Jacoby Brissett.
That is funnier. That's a good pull there, Duke. I guess the Jacoby Brissett situation, it's kind of hilarious based off who it is, what he's done in the league. But the reality is he can hold out because,
the Cardinals need him.
Exactly. So he has the leverage because now Kyler Murray's in Minnesota. So they need Jacoby Brissett. So he does have that power, the leverage, the cards are in his hand.
Now, I will say my wording on the question was the last decade. And true.
2007 is just beyond that.
Just a tick. As we're 19 years past.
A little bit more than a decade. But
bad reading comprehension by me. But also, can you name, Donovan, right now off the top of your head, name me another funny contract holdout in the last decade?
There isn't. That's the point. It's Jacoby Brissett.
So you picked a question with one answer, and I still found a way to be out on it.
Yeah, well, that's your own fault.
Because I'm expanding the parameters to include more options.
Okay,
you're welcome.
Sure, whatever. I don't care. It's
now, boys.
It's Jacoby freaking Brissett holding out.
Good
It is
player.
objectively hilarious because he stinks, and he's getting to hold the Arizona Cardinals hostage because they don't have any other option.
They absolutely have another option. His name is Carson Beck.
See that?
Let me take your question and spin it back to a question everyone else in the studio. What's funnier? Jacoby Brissett holding out for the Arizona Cardinals or Tom Gazzola actually being open to the idea of Carson Beck as this team's new full-time starter?
Oh,
all of the above.
Without a question, Tom.
I'm looking forward to having an Arizona guest on this week when Tom's not here to quiz about his favorite team, and I just get to chat with whatever beat reporter or broadcaster and be like, man, is this going to be the worst team in the NFL this year?
By far.
And they'll probably say there's a very good chance
Expect
of
it.
that coming through.
Love will get 300 plus touches.
Over under 1.5 wins. Or actually,
For the
2.5. 2.5 for the team.
I think Connor and I did this because we went Cardinals last week. I think I have them at 3 wins, 3 or 4.
Okay.
Under.
And I think their line is 3.5. So on Bet365.
They scream under 2.5 for me personally. I don't know.
It's a tough division. Too,
It's going to be an ugly season in Arizona. All the more,
which is pretty rich coming from Donovan.
Hey,
whose favorite team is the Miami Dolphins.
Hey, listen. At least there's some redeeming qualities. There's a couple. Hey, Devon Achan's a stud. He's going to win at least one game by himself.
There is a redeeming quality.
Jeremiah Love is good.
Yeah, he probably will be.
Plus, they still have.
But what happened with Ashton Genty?
Maserati Marv.
Yeah, he's really good at football.
Who's playing receiver for the Dolphins this year, Donovan? I literally couldn't name you.
Jalen Tolbert.
Oh
boy. All right, next question.
Yeah. We don't need to get into the weeds on this.
Off to number 3 here. We're gonna take this to a little bit of a CFL direction. Trey Ford will have one more chance after this season.
You go ahead, Eddie.
Oh, after this season.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, out. This will be his last season to showcase the talent. He's got 2 starts now with Scott Milanovic. One, his first game out looked pretty good. Second game out yesterday night didn't look pretty good. Kind of looked like the Trey that we're accustomed to seeing out here in Edmonton. And I believe that is who he is. It's just, when are people going to start to realize that there's so many people who are still mesmerized by the potential talent, the potential, athletic gifts that Trey has. But man, you don't play athlete, you play quarterback. And I've said it for so long now. He's just not there as a quarterback, a passing efficient quarterback.
Yeah, I'm going to be out on the question and probably in with you, Eddie, where I say this might be it. He needs to, because has it been confirmed Bo Levi Mitchell's out for the season, or do we just think that
his ankle is hanging by a thread?
Get surgery. I get it. It's a long season, but at this rate, with the way the Tiger Cats are trending, are you going to bring Bo Levi Mitchell back for the last month of the season? There's no point whatsoever. So Trey Ford will get runway here now if things continue to not go his way and we see more of this week's version of him versus last week's. Do they go back to Daggy? Do they go to Dolaga, excuse me. I think we'll see a few different options, but Trey Ford will get more starts under center this year with Hamilton. Of that, I'm still sure. He has a chance to extend his career, but if it's just such an if, he's got so much runway still this season. I don't think he's going to get benched and then not see the field again this year.
You sure about that?
Dude, what are their other options?
I mean,
we saw Dolagala.
Didn't think that last year either. Trey went. This is how it played out. Trey got a huge offseason contract last year. Keys to the franchise. Started the first 5 games. In one of those 5 games, he actually had a perfect passer rating. The next outing, he hit the bench and he never saw the field again. It can happen that quick, man. When these coaches, they don't have time to develop a quarterback in pro football, man.
There's too much pressure.
You can't take losses. Oh, but yet we're developing this Canadian kid. We'll stack up 5 losses in a row because we're developing. No, man, you got to win now. And you can't afford to have a guy out there who can't complete a pass.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I've called him the CFL Anthony Richardson, and the guy is just so unbelievable. Both players unbelievably inconsistent, and there's no ability to have any idea of what's happening when both players step foot onto the field. Off to number 4, the Jays will acquire at least one top 100 prospect next week.
Ooh, I'm probably in on this because they have enough pieces that, Kevin Gausman, even with his kind of roller coaster season, he's had some really good outings and some really poor ones. I think his experience and playoff track record will benefit him in being a good commodity, a high-end commodity. After that, probably Shane Bieber. Based on the last 2 outings, I think a lot of teams will be interested in him as well. What else do we talk? Hoffman, no. Any of the other bullpen guys that are going to be moved, no. Dalton Varsho, probably not bringing back a huge haul if he is moved on from. Still cross my fingers he's not and he get an extension instead. So I'll say yes, and it's probably coming in the form of Kevin Gausman's return. Maybe Bieber's.
What about Varsho?
Yeah, I just don't think Varsho will command that price if he's traded. I think Varsho, he's going to be added by a team as a defensive replacement.
You think so?
Yeah. I think Varsho will be traded to a team that's already loaded, and because he is no commitment after this year. Mm-hmm. So he's just a mercenary essentially. I think he's brought in as a defensive guy that can be a boon off the bench as a bat, but otherwise I don't think he'll fetch a particularly high price as a UFA.
See, center field is such a shallow position that I think Dalton Varsho is going to be the guy that gets the most, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, because center fielders can't hit. And Dalton Varsho hasn't had a good season at all, but he's shown you in the past that he can hit. So, Julio's amazing. Pete Crow Armstrong's amazing. You got Byron Buxton out there. You got Jackson Merrill. But after those kind of guys, and I'd say Michael Harris as well, after those kind of guys, can you name me 5 other center fielders that can hit better than Dalton Varsho? Can you name me 3 that can hit better than Dalton Varsho? I don't think you can. There's a lot of guys out there who are really bad offensively in center field. The great gloves, just like Dalton Varsho this season. For me, the upside of Dalton Varsho is higher than almost any other center fielder in baseball outside of the elite guys, obviously, and in the Buxtons and the PCAs and the Julios. But like, I don't know. I think Varsho will still get a pretty hefty return. Off to the fifth one here, fellas. Today is National Chicken Finger
Donovan,
Day.
no, Eddie, are you in or are you out?
Oh, sorry. I forgot I didn't answer.
Donnie, that's the second baseball when Donnie gets going. Count me in, just because very much I'm aligned with you, Duke, in terms of the potential talent that they have to acquire a prospect.
And if there's not going to be very many sellers, that means prices go up.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Eddie,
No.
or Donovan. I just didn't want Eddie to go unanswered.
I forgot that he didn't
I knew you
answer, to
did.
be
I could
honest.
tell.
I was kind of in the zone there.
He was rolling.
I was rolling. I
Big
felt
ball,
I was
nowhere.
cooking.
Why I am rolling.
Number 5, as I was reading before I was so rudely interrupted. Today is National Chicken Finger Day. Of all the foods an adult can order at a sit-down restaurant, chicken fingers are by far the most embarrassing. I say this as someone who
orders
down
them
at
every time.
first round
In orders them.
at every Oilers game and orders them probably half the time. Do I feel disgusting and embarrassed when I order them? Yes. But do I still do it? Yes. To me, they're embarrassing to order when
All right.
you're an adult at a sit-down restaurant.
Donovan, before I answer your question, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
When you order them at first round, do you order them as bring me the chicken fingers? Do you say bring me the chicken tenders, which has kind of been a trend where it changes the name to make it a little less immature maybe, or
Yeah.
embarrassing to order them? I found that trend is really taken off in the last probably dozen plus years. Or do you order them by their menu named item? Yes, ma'am, I'll have the goaltenders, please. Thank you.
I just at this point, so down at first round, we have basically the same 3 bartenders every time because me and Walk sit at the bar.
And would you say you're familiar with these
I'm
bartenders,
very
Donovan?
familiar. So
How
now,
familiar?
I'm not gonna go there. I've never had any.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
enough. Just move on. You talked yourself into that hole.
No.
I can't wait to hear off air.
Off. So I've ordered.
He's completely shook.
I never ordered them as their menu name, the goaltenders. I always order them as strips.
Chicken strips.
Chicken strips.
So you're going a total different direction.
Yes, I go off
Very
the board.
juvenile.
I thought you were gonna answer. You're like in
Or
in
it also just gets called the Donovan now.
in grown up.
That's how much I've ordered
ordered. What's the movie with Sean William Scott and Paul Rudd? When they're the mentors, the
Oh,
role models.
Yeah, role models.
Yeah.
Role models. You're like the McLovin character. He's like, I want to get those chicken in. That's Donovan at first round ordering is
Oh
Teddy's.
my goodness.
Eddie, I want you to answer this one first.
I don't find it embarrassing, to be honest. I really don't.
Like it's on the menu.
Yeah.
Even if you're like at an Earl's or something like
I don't,
that.
man.
Oh.
But-
I don't. Chicken is like
But Eddie,
right to the biceps.
are
Man.
you-
Good protein.
Are you ever ordering chicken fingers?
Yes, I do.
at a
I'll go to
restaurant?
Cactus Club and I'll order chicken fingers
Really?
sometimes. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, sometimes.
See, for me, I don't find it embarrassing because I almost never order them when I'm out because chicken fingers are one of those things that to me, I can genuinely make as well at home because you just put it in the air fryer, put it in the oven or whatever, right? And listen, don't come at me with the, Kevin Karras, get my own seasoning and hand
I
toss them
bread
and all this.
them,
Just like,
exactly.
get out of here with that. They're chicken fingers. Stick them, pull them out of the freezer, stick them in the air fryer. They're the exact same product. So as a result, if I'm at a restaurant, I prefer to go the direction and routes of things I can't make at home, which is an extensive list. So I don't have the embarrassment, but I guess if we're putting it in a vacuum here, is it the most embarrassing thing? No, I think that depends more on what I kind of alluded to with how it's named on the menu. Like if you're at a type of restaurant where they've got really like kitschy names for everything and you're like, ooh, get me the wham bam slam fries, please, and thank you. So it's like, I'll just sub in a side salad.
Yeah, I've done that at a couple of restaurants. I don't drink alcohol, but I'll get the non-alcoholic drinks, and some of them are real fruity and
Eddie,
and it's
100% Paul, I'm out on this because the most embarrassing thing to order, and call it toxic masculinity, whatever you want. When you're a man and you want to get a drink that is maybe a little bit more feminine in tradition or in history.
A Bellini?
A Bellini. Love a peach Bellini. But when you have to order one of those and you're kind of just like, maybe I'll just get a beer instead because I literally don't want to say the name of the drink. Like if you're ordering a Cosmopolitan or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm out. I think that's worse than the chicken. Even if you say like, yeah, it was chicken fingers, that's no big problem.
See, now as someone who goes out for, with the fellas and we go to Earl's or whatever very occasionally, one of my buddies does the he looks at the menu. I'm feeling the chicken strips, fellas, and you look at them and you go, really, at Earl's or like really at X restaurant? I don't know. I can't get over, even as someone who does it myself at First Round all the time.
Donovan is just the world's biggest hypocrite. Like he's ordering this every time he's just at First Round with Walker for pre and post game, and he goes out with his buddies. He's like, "Can't believe you're ordering the chicken fingers. You're such a little kid."
Absolutely,
the hypocrisy.
It is hypocritical, but I don't know. Do I feel guilty or do I feel bad about it or weird about it at First Round? Yes.
You have no shame, Donovan. That much at First Round has been well established. Eddie, great show, man. Flew by. We're kind of in that time of season. We're finding things to talk about, generating as much as we can. You're going down to Elks Nation to do a Monday morning show with Deck?
Yes, sir.
Are
Heading
you going
down
to cut
there
his
right
hair
now.
today?
No, not today. No, I gave him a fresh shave on Friday.
So
though.
you bicked him
I
because
bicked
Declan
him.
has recently committed to the shaved head.
Well, he's
game.
not committed. I mean,
he was
has no
forced into
choice.
it. He was
Yes.
forced into it. It was getting a little rough for our boy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he got shamed into it or finally just took a hard look in the mirror and in that look said, wow, there's not very much hair on my head anymore. He went to the Buzz game, but you've got him to the Bick game now, which is a step I myself have not yet taken.
Oh, you haven't, eh?
I just go lowest guard on the Clippers.
And that's where Deck was at, and he thought it was adequate enough. But then I gave him the bicking, and he liked that smooth feel. You like that, out, Benny? Deck got bicked by me.
Anything else going on of note during the week here?
Nah, man. We're in the heart of summer, right? So doing some sales calls, kind of tampering it back a little, spending a lot of time with the kids, bike rides, and just all the fun stuff.
Enjoy the weather, avoid the storms, avoid the smoke if you can, if it's kind of back hanging around again today. Have a great week, and we will reconvene with you Friday morning at 7:00.
All right, boys. Good show.
Eddie Steele, former CFLer, Grey Cup champion, all-decade team, a long list of accommodations and awards for our own real deal Eddie Steele. That was In or Out, brought to you by Pro Solutions. And top of the hour, well, we're well past the top of the hour, but next segment, we'll have a little open time catch up on the text line. 9:20, Low Tide will pop in ahead of his show today from noon to 2 on our station. Then in the 10 o'clock hour, we will be joined by both Paul Sur to talk some basketball, as well as Noah Furtado from down in San Francisco covering the 49ers Football Club. Before all that, Sports 1440 update brought to you by All-Star Construction. They shape and build Edmonton communities specializing in underground utilities like power, gas, telecommunication, and street lighting. That's All-Star Construction. Here is Donovan Paulson.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Off the diamond over the weekend, the Red Sox make the first real deal of the deadline, swapping 24-year-old lefty Conley early for breakout 25-year-old infielder Curtis Mead. He's got more homers this year than the prior 3 years of his career combined. The Bo Sox also beat up on the Jays 6-1. The Rays blanked the Guards 1-0. Braves snuck past the Orioles 3-2 in extras. Pirates topping the Cubbies 8-7. And the Phillies dumpstering the Yankees 11-4. CFL action yesterday. It was the Ticats falling 31-18 to the Owls. Some college football news. GM Michael Lombardi has been placed on leave by North Carolina after an incident, after a report from a fellow staff member. Coming up, we got a little open time right after the break. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Need an excuse to upgrade your ride? Well, we got a few to share. Go Auto has over 18,000 new and used vehicles ready to test drive right now. With more than 70 locations, your perfect match could be closer than you think. A family-friendly SUV for soccer practice, a fuel-sipping commuter, or a hardworking truck that's ready for anything. Trusted brands and a team that's actually happy to help. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Mr. Rooter has deja vu. Mr. Rooter has deja vu.
The bathroom is right over there, Mr. Rooter.
Well, thank you, good sir. Wait, I swear I've plunged this toilet before. It was clogged with a snow globe. Am I living in a time loop? Oh, good. It's just a voodoo doll that looks exactly like me. Whew, what a relief.
For a plumbing experience you'll want to relive, call Mr. Rooter.
For all your welding supplies, think AWS Welding. Located in Nisku, their readily stocked storefront carries a wide variety of welding glasses, cylinder rentals, plus welding rod, wire, and consumables. Same-day delivery is always available. And if they don't have it, AWS Welding will find it for you fast. Visit their online store today at awswelding.ca or give them a call or text at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. They make it happen.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
Photographers, start your cameras. Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest is back. We're asking you to show us the people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo to show why life in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at whatsyourshare.ca.
Legendary is here with BetMGM Sportsbook. Sign up now to unlock access to hundreds of pre-match and live betting options for all your favorite sports. Download the BetMGM app. See BetMGM.com for terms. 18 plus, Alberta only. Please play responsibly. Subject to eligibility requirements.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. BetMGM operates pursuant to an operating agreement with the Alberta iGaming Corporation. Standard message and data rates may apply.
The Tom Gazzola Show with guest host Brandon Douglas on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Tom this week. First of 5 days at the helm. Looking forward to a fun week. Fun first couple hours of it with Eddie Steele, including the in or out segment that has got the text line fired up and some incoming there. 1-833-401-1440. You can get in on the conversation with us as well. The show, as always, is brought to you by Bet365. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T&Cs apply. Now, one third thing about Bet365 is they have the early payout. You've heard us talk about that. Whereas in baseball, team goes up by 5 runs. It just cashes it as a win on the money line. I was the benefactor of that on Saturday afternoon where I, very confident on the back of Dylan Cease, went Jays money line, few other underdogs mixed in, a little 6-game parlay, Donovan, only to be undone by the Atlanta Braves, who teased me. They teased me. Went down 2-0 to the Orioles, and I thought, well, that was the last leg, last game I needed. Thought, well, it's a write-off. It's over. Braves come back, tie it in the top of the 8th with an Ozzie Albies home run. Go into the 9th, deadlocked at 2 apiece, thinking, oh boy, this is it. My moment of glory. No, they lost. Walked off by a single in the bottom of the 9th. And listen, still had some good payouts, some good wins on the singles I put on the games. You know, a little sprinkle. but the total parlay not coming to fruition, unfortunately.
Yeah, that sounds oddly familiar of what's happened to me this weekend with the stupid Milwaukee Brewers against the Colorado Rockies. I believe that was on Friday after getting home from doing your job on Friday. I because you were gone pulling a little hooky out on the golf course.
It's not hooky when it's book days off, Donovan.
I know.
We don't vacation shame here unless it's Kevin.
Unless it's Kevin. I'm just playing around, but it was I have the Milwaukee Brewers decided that they didn't want to win a baseball game against the Colorado Rockies, and Sagano was out on the mound. The guy, I don't know if you checked his ERA anytime recently, but it's well over 6, and it's just a disaster. And I thought for sure the hot Brewers were gonna come out there and dumpster Tomoyuki Sagano, and then immediately they just go down in the first inning, and then and then Christian Yelich gives me a little bit of hope, and they keep getting runners on in scoring position in like the 8th and 9th innings, and then they just can't do anything with it. I wanted to just crawl up and roll over. I had a 6-leg parlay like yourself. The rest of it hit, and I was just counting on the Brewers, and they sold.
That will happen.
It happens occasionally.
While we just got a quick minute here, Donovan, before we get to LT in a few moments, I wanted to ask you, you were down in Wetaskiwin on Saturday for the NASCAR Series event. Take us behind the scenes a little bit there, because you were there as a pass-carrying member of the media. You got the chance to kind of see the whole event from a few different perspectives. So just enlighten us on this, because I know that track in Wetaskiwin, it hosts a lot of great events, but I do think it's still a little bit of a hidden gem for maybe people like me that aren't quite as into the racing and the car scene as maybe some others are.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was, I'll be honest. So I even said this to Colin. So as a member of the media, you get to go and do some pretty cool things. I actually think that was the most fun and the coolest thing I've done as a member of the media. Now, is it a little different perspective for myself than it would be for normal fans? Yes. But I know Colin on the Gregor show had some stuff to give away last week, in which there was, someone got to listen into the communications between Colin the Spotter and Alex Tagliani. And that was, I mean, I didn't get to do that myself, but I know that was part of the experience. It could have been one on the Gregor show last week. Just standing up in the Spotters Tower, standing in the pit lane, that was genuinely, I think, the coolest experience I've had as a media member. And you're getting to watch some unbelievable racing action. I mean, the thing about NASCAR and the thing about that event was, if you're someone who watches an F1 race, particularly a race like Monaco, where you don't have really any passing and it kind of gets a little bit stale. The thing about this was there was a ton of passing. There was a ton of, listen, things went wrong out there. There was even the event in between. There's 2 NASCAR races. One of them obviously gets rained out, and there was a thunderstorm. So I know Colin was just basically blowing back and forth in the Spotters Tower. But they had an enduro race where there was some, we'll call them junky, early 2000s pieces of junk, like early Grand Caravan, stuff like that. And these are cars that people don't care about. And you see them smoking, and you see them going through basically hell because they're not used to driving that fast. And they're not used to cornering like that. I had a blast because there was passing all over the place. There was lapping. It's a little oval, but the fans were out there in droves. It was great. It was, if you haven't checked it out, I know they just announced, I think 3-year extension is what they have now out in Wetaskiwin as well. So if you haven't checked it out before, that is something that I would fully recommend. The environment I thought was excellent. I spent a little bit of time out in the stands as well, as I was just kind of arriving to see the environment, but I loved it. So for those of you who are looking for more local things to do, if you have any interest in cars whatsoever, I don't think that event gets enough press. So I would highly suggest that the next time it comes around.
Very good. Appreciate the insight. Sounds like you had a fun Saturday down amongst the real gearheads.
Yes, I did.
Did you change the tire?
I did not change the tire.
Did you hold like the giant gas can thing?
No, my job was stay out of the way of the professionals.
And that's enough for you to worry about.
Do some videos and stuff. And I don't know if you don't follow us on socials at all. There's some videos up, some pictures up. It was a real blast. Honestly, it was. I can't speak highly enough. I don't think I've done it enough justice here in what I've all said, but I would very highly recommend checking that out next time.
Very good stuff, Donovan. When we return, Alan Mitchell from the Lowdown with Low Tide. Hear him every day, noon to 2. Also catches work covering the Oilers and other stuff over at The Athletic. He will guest with us to catch up on what LT's weekend looked like, what he got up to, and what he makes of the coming week. Elks, Blue Jays, local clubs, and more. Maybe even a little Oilers talk mixed in just for the sake of doing so. It's Tom Gazzola Show here on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Tom this week. Watch the show. We're streaming it on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch, and it's presented by Bet365.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier specialty charter companies. With our luxury motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation services. Our seatbelt equipped, top-of-the-line motor coaches have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel needs across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991. Or visit silentrides.ca.
Are you a skilled laborer? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
Okay, new strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. Then a volunteer gave me a medal. But I don't want participation trophies, unless they're from Bet365. With their daily prize matcher game, I win by matching gold coins, cherries, and more. Take that, denim man. Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
Not sure where to turn? Remember 211, the number to contact for mental health, addiction, and community supports. It's free, confidential, and available 24/7. 211 Alberta. One number, countless connections.
A message from the Government of Alberta.
Your game, your station. Sports 1440.
And watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
$9:23. Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Tommy G this week. We got Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick in studio as well, keeping us on track and online with all of our video feeds, YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch, all for your viewing pleasure. Of course, listening-wise, you got the terrestrial AM radio dial, Old Faithful, as I like to call it. There's also the TuneIn app, my preferred choice for when I'm outside of range. Maybe back at the farm or something like that. And then iHeartRadio, sports1440.ca, all good options as well. Let's welcome in our Monday morning staple, Alan Mitchell, the Lowdown with Low Tide. You hear him every day here on Sports 1440 from noon to 2. Also read his work over at The Athletic, covering the Oilers. Tide, good morning. Happy Monday. How are we feeling here after another wet weekend, particularly Saturday night here in the City of Champions?
I'm just thankful that my house is on the same lot. I mean, It is unbelievable. Some of the video that I saw from around town was just, on X was just unbelievable. I've lived in Edmonton for most of my life and area, and there was a terrible storm in '77. I remember as impacted specifically Mill Woods, but this is in my memory the weirdest, wettest, craziest storm summer, and I think this weekend was the loudest and the most damaging. There's a tree not far from my house that split in half, so it's pretty wild.
Now, Tide, I want to talk some hockey with you, and you're starting with the local club, the Edmonton Oilers, and your piece that just went up this morning at The Athletic. As a matter of fact, title reads, an Edmonton Oilers roster tweak that could help their Stanley Cup chances. And it really focuses in on something I know you've been a big proponent of. And, for seemingly a lot of years, we've had a few rentals come in and out to fill the spot, but a right-handed centerman that can kind of fill in more towards the bottom of your lineup, go out there and win key faceoffs from that side of the dot and things of that nature. So take us inside this piece a little bit and maybe some of the names that you came across in your research that could be potential fits for Edmonton, whether they be in season or a little further down the line.
Yeah, it's always been, with the exception of the period maybe when Jason Arnott was drafted and then before he got, outside the fan base in terms of, something he said. The Oilers are right-handed centers, for the most part, have been, secondary considerations, and they haven't had a strength. I remember when they traded Everly for Ryan Strome, you could at least say, Ryan Strome's a right-handed center, but they didn't use him properly, and they sent him away for Ryan Spooner shortly thereafter. So the idea for the article came about because I went back and I listened to Stan Bowman, and I listened to the players on the exits after the playoffs, and they all talked about Draisaitl and McDavid playing together at 5-on-5. And then Mike Babcock said the same thing when he came in and did his media avail, introducing himself as the new head coach. So with that said, we know based on the numbers that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is not an adequate second-line center, had a 37% goal share at 5-on-5 a year ago. So I went casting about for another center because I don't think Jason Dickinson can play the second-line role. And I came up with a few names. The most, I guess, well-known would be Doc out of Montreal. Obviously, the Oilers are, have Kirby Doc's brother here in Colton. And this is not a player who's necessarily available. They recently signed him in Montreal, but they don't appear as attached to him as they were years ago when they made the trade for him. So I think that there's an opportunity there, and I do wonder if Doc is a guy. The other two that I sort of have looked at, based mostly because they've been a little disappointed to their team, although there has been some success. So I put together a list that included Matt Poitras of the Boston Bruins and Doc as well. And then Connor Geekie, who's left-handed but might be able to fill that role. I think the center position is really important on this team. I like their defense. I think they've sort of layered their goaltending with three different options. But I think that if Stan Bowman were to go out shopping this summer, Doc would be a really good target. And I also like Poitras in Boston as a right-handed center. Not to say they'd play all the time at center, but when McDavid and Draisaitl are together, it would be give them another look, and especially if they're right-handed.
Now, Tide, in your piece, you kind of dive into about like the centers that already exist on the roster and why you don't necessarily think that they fit the need. And the obvious one is, your top two guys being left-handed, but you kind of focus in that someone to play second or third line minutes. Like bringing back Jason Dickinson, to me, really fills that third line role, at least for the immediate short term. Could he eventually, digress a little bit more and be a fourth line center, whatever. You cross that bridge when you come to it, especially at the favorable number that he re-upped on. So if you're in the market of saying a guy that could potentially play on the second line at times, does that tell me that you're a little bit more in favor of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl playing together more regularly, or do you just like the versatility more so that it provides the lineup on a game-to-game, in-game basis as well?
I think the Oilers are most effective when they play apart. McDavid, the top line center, Draisaitl, the second line center, and now they have enough wingers, I think, to fill that role. I just don't think Nuge is a guy you can slide into second line center. And I think Jason Dickinson, if you look at, he's a very effective player, but as a penalty killer and as a tough minutes shutdown kind of a player, and that to me, he could end up playing the second most minutes, but it's going to be more of a defensive role. I think that if the Oilers are going to be successful, they can play McDavid and Draisaitl together, but the second line has to, be able to deliver offense. And, maybe Nuge is on the second line on left wing, but I think they need to bring in somebody who can do what Dickinson and Josh Szymanski can't do, and that's provide, offense. I like Dickinson, and I think he can score 10, 12 goals. I just don't think he can, drive a line offensively. And I think he's too valuable on the penalty kill and as a shutdown guy. I could see him having a lot of defensive zone starts and playing an extremely valuable role on this team. I just don't think second line scoring center is really in his wheelhouse.
Alan Mitchell from the Lowdown with Low Tide with us here on the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Tom this morning and the rest of the week. Now, jumping around the rest of the NHL Tide, the kind of one tidbit that's floating out there as we await a few more RFAs to get figured out. A lot of the big names have got their contracts sorted, but it's in Columbus where we await Adam Fantilli news. They got Jed Greaves taken care of, but this Kirill Marchenko situation that continues to devolve and evolve at times because he doesn't really seem like he wants to be there. Definitely not long term. He's got one more year before becoming an RFA. For a annual 20 goal scorer, 30 goal upside type player that has size, that has skill, and a lot of good elements to his game. Aaron Portzline reported there's not really much of a market apparently out there right now as Columbus is maybe open to moving on from him at just $3.85 million cap. But I asked the same thing to Spec earlier. Why do you think there's maybe not much of a market right now for a player that does look like he could be a pretty immediate help to a team in need of scoring assistance?
Well, I think that when you're making deals at this time of year, rosters are pretty much set. But I think there's a market for him, but nobody wants to pay the full price. Columbus has a weird habit of having these things shake loose at the most inopportune times. And that speaks to me to ownership. I'm not, going to pretend I'm an expert on, the Columbus ownership, but, they've had I would say, pretty eventful offseason in terms of unrest among their players. That's not a good sign. So the NHL general managers are always a little bit leery about why things don't get done, probably doing a little bit of research. If they want to trade him, he'll get traded, but it'll be more towards, training camp, I think. I mean, based on his numbers, there's just no way. This is a real quality guy. He scored, 67 and 74 points the last 2 years. He has, offensive ability. I don't know what his reputation is in the industry, but he has the kind of first 3 seasons that 4 seasons, I guess, that you as a, Oilers general manager, as an example, would be looking for. This guy, is going to have some really good years. So, I think there will be a market. What I do think, though, is that when you hear about something like this, teams have set their budgets, they've paid their money, they've gone through the process, they're mostly at the cottage, happy with their team. So slow play means that there's probably not a lot of interest in that. They don't want to go back and do the due diligence. But if they want to deal him, he'll get dealt, and they'll get a lot for him because he's a very good player.
Yeah, that's kind of where I wonder if maybe it's just the asking price for a player with just 1 year of control. Well, an extra year of control because he'll be a UFA in another season. But the possibility of him not re-upping with a new club combined with this high price tag that perhaps Columbus has attached to it, that's what kind of stands out to me. And listen, if I'm the Jackets, I want to keep this player, as you and I both just kind of said, right? Like 4 straight years of 20 plus goals, touching 60, 70 points. Like those are not players that come across your desk or your casier on a day-to-day basis. So I would think there'd be a market for him, but maybe Columbus is just asking a little bit too much at this point of time. Come deadline or something, perhaps an extension can be put in place, and he does find himself a new home to play. Last topic to touch on with you, LT, is the MLB trade deadline. It is a week away today. We've seen the first domino kind of fall with the Red Sox and Nationals kind of making a baseball trade, if you want to call it that. We always use the term hockey trade when there's roster players going in both directions and no prospects or draft picks and things, right? But Curtis Mead going to Boston. He's having a breakout campaign. And then the lefty pitcher, Connolly Early, heading to Washington, who needed some help in that area for sure. The Blue Jays are, of course, most people's area of focus north of the 49th parallel. What players do you expect to still be Blue Jays by next Tuesday? And which ones do you think will be playing for new clubs?
Well, I think Gosman's going to go, and it's too bad. It really is. But I think he's been, among the best, free agent signings, and he's really given them, kind of a soul of the starting rotation since he's been here. And trading him is like just, you're giving up a big part of your team, and you're not going to get anything back immediately that is going to help you at all. So when they trade Gausman, that means they're done. They've given up. I think that there's no reason to keep Springer. I don't know what value he'd have, but there's no reason to. I think Varsho is interesting because he clearly is a very fine player. There's a market for him. I don't know that he'll go. And then, I could talk for 10 minutes about the relievers on the Blue Jays. I think they should trade as many as possible. But is Donovan there? Because he can talk about the relievers on the Jays, especially Hoffman, for days and days. So,
well, is it the same, like when you say talk about them, is that synonymous with just complain about them? Because we know that that's Donovan's specialty. And it's funny because, there are a bunch of relievers that I'm sure the Jays would be happy to move on from, but it takes two to tango. I'm not sure how many teams looking at the seasons a lot of these guys have put together would be very interested in acquiring, even if it is just like depth and emergency reserve type arms. They're not inspiring a ton of confidence, which was once again on full display here over the weekend. They need their starters to go 9 innings and have a stalwart performance like Dylan Cease did to win baseball games, it seems. So
that Cease game, man. I'm telling you, they are wasting such a great season by that guy. But this is a really disappointing year because they were so close a year ago, and maybe a little bit of it was smoke and mirrors. I mean, Savage is now a struggling young player, and that's what we expect young players to do. Last year he was brilliant, but they've had injuries, they've had a lot of bad luck. I think they've made some decisions that didn't work out. Santander was basically opening up an elevator shaft and just throwing money down until you're exhausted. That was just a waste. I would, if they're buying, I think that a lefty bat they could put in the middle of the lineup to not necessarily protect Vladdy, because Vladdy will take care of himself. He'll get better as time goes on. But just to have a real threat there. If you've got Vladdy at 3, the lefty I'm talking about at 4. And then the number 2 hitter is going to have a little more protection, probably going to get a few better, fastballs to hit. I think that's what they should be looking for, but it's a mess. I mean, you've got Varland, you've got Cease, Varland in the bullpen, Cease as the starter. But there's remember Ponce? He was going to be something. They got a lot of guys. They got a lot of guys who were injured, and it is a complete mess now. And I mean, I guess right now it's a matter of, do you fire the manager? But at this point, I don't even see the point, to be honest with you.
That's where I'm at too. We had a text come in about a little earlier. Hadn't got to it yet, but I chatted about it with Scott Mitchell down in Camrose this morning. And I'm like, if you want to reassess the John Schneider situation at season's end, I just don't really see a benefit to firing him now in whatever, with a couple months to play out the string here for the team. Like, reassess in your exit meetings, all that. And if you want to make a change, so be it. But I like John Schneider as a man. I don't agree with all of his decisions. I think that's just the nature of sport. But I do think that the continuity of coming back with him next season, there's still some validity and justification to it. So
the management and the manager were geniuses a year ago, and now they're
But the year before that, we wanted them all fired. Remember,
right?
Tide?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's such an ebb and flow. And the thing about baseball, it's 162 games. It is the most marathon of all of the major sports. So we saw the Boston Red Sox not long ago. They were, going to sell, and then they make that trade. I like the trade for Boston. They finally got themselves a third baseman. And then, they gave up a guy who I think the Red Sox have 17 lefty starters right now. So, and Connolly Early is hurt right now. So it's not going to hurt them at all. I like it for Washington because they needed arms. The Nationals, let me tell you, their turnaround this year has been historic. Their bats were dead a year ago. James Wood couldn't, in the second half, all he hit was air. And this team right now, they're frightening how good their bats are. If they get some more pitching like Early and a few others, they could be something else next year. Not this year, but next year.
Yeah.
And they're coming, man. I'm telling you that. I can't believe how much everybody's improved on that team year over year. That management change and GM change has really ignited that roster.
Tide, what do you got coming up on the big program today from noon to 2 right here on Sports 1440?
Well, you previewed it. We're going to be talking about, the trade deadline. We'll talk about the Elks. Jason Greger will be our future guest. We're going to talk about the fact that, some people just play the world better than others, like Tom Gazzola, who barely started working for our company.
Right.
And now he's already on a week-long holiday. How does a guy get that done? Like that. We're going to drill down on that.
He learned from the best, Kevin Karius.
Well, Karius. Karius. I remember one time he walked by Greger saying, "I need 2 weeks off. My garden needs to be tended to." And I'm like, what the hell? Some guys got it, some guys don't.
We have to sympathize with guys like Kevin right now, Tide, because with all these storms rolling through, he's probably out there every Sunday after these Saturday night thunderstorms, just like stapling parts of plants back together to try and salvage them. We know how much he needs that garden to sustain his family over the harsh winters.
I heard a rumor he was going to start, hydroponics.
Yeah.
So maybe that's his next step. I'm thinking tomatoes, but who knows?
Yeah, I have to wonder if in his retirement, Kevin might get a little more explorative with those hydroponics and maybe what he's growing, and can start himself up a new retirement business that serves him and others very well.
Yeah, there's only 2 things you can do when you're retired, and 2 of them are okay. The third one isn't.
Tide, great stuff. Appreciate it. We will see you once you roll in the studio a little bit later on, and have a great show on the rest of your week.
All right. Appreciate it.
Alan Mitchell, The Lowdown with Low Tide, noon to 2 here on Sports 1440, and also find his work, including his most recent piece published this morning over at The Athletic, touching on the Oilers and, some more off-season musings and thoughts about how can this roster continue to be improved. It's a great read. Go check it out. When we return, we will hopefully have Cam and Eggs ready to contribute this morning. And at top of the hour, we will talk some hoops with Hoop City's own Paul Sir. LeBron James, the Philadelphia 76er. I know this happened on Friday. Talked about it a little bit with Tommy and Josh and Donovan at that point, but I'm still flabbergasted by it. I am blown away, shocked. Plus some other movers and shakings around the NBA as that offseason rolls on. Plus the Stingers clinching a playoff spot with a win over the Calgary Surge. And then at 10:20, we'll head down to the Bay, talk San Francisco 49ers Kyle Shanahan's status after a car accident and what to make of this group after another injury-plagued season. Exceeded some expectations, but can they duplicate it inside a very difficult NFC West? All that and lots more still to come here on The Gazzola Show, presented by Bet365. Watch it. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
Must be 18 or older. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. T's and C's apply.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
It's Dollar Drink Summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions. At GS Construction, people grow with the company. 50 years of experience doesn't live in a binder on a shelf. It lives in our people at every level, passed down on every site. Many of us started with a shovel in our hands and built whole careers here. The work is honest. The company's been around since 1974. So if it all sounds good to you and you want to grow with us, GS Construction is currently looking for experienced pipe layers and topmen. No shovel required. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Caesars is Alberta's anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Stay in the action with your favorite teams and players. Whether you're camping, kayaking, or catching a show this summer, bet wherever you are, whenever you want. Plus, Caesars Sportsbook offers fast payouts and flex parlays, a new way to keep your bet alive even if a pick misses. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today.
Must be 18 or older and physically present in Alberta to gamble. Must be 21 or older to use Caesars Sportsbook. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. Please play responsibly.
Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
The Tom Gazzola Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we're here to stay.
Coming up on 10 o'clock in Edmonton. Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show here on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Tommy G. Donovan Paulson on the ones and twos. Josh Fenwick in studio as well, keeping us on track online with our video feeds. You can watch the show, YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, even Twitch. If you're a Twitch person, that's awesome. I have no idea what it is. I've never been on it. I thought it was for video games. Apparently it's for many more things than that. So that's great. We're everywhere. Listening wise, tune in, iHeartRadio, sports1440.ca, or all reliable, the terrestrial AM dial. My personal favorite, just so convenient still in the truck. Just flip it on, one button, and I'm tuned in. And I don't know if my truck just has the world's best antenna. I honestly get great reception of the station everywhere. And I get it like basically all the way to the farm. Which it may, like Towers in Wetaskiwin, and it kind of makes sense, right? In central Alberta, 25 minutes east of Red Deer is where we're at. But then in the odd time, back in the hills, you're fighting it anyway because there's no cell service. So then streaming becomes difficult. But the AM feed still coming through pretty rock solid. Text line 1-833-401-1440. Montana to Rice. We know you watch hot tub streams on Twitch, buddy. You aren't fooling me. That exists?
Buddy, it does exist.
So, that's a whole genre on Twitch. Like, you open the Twitch page and it's like, what are you looking to watch? Like, your algorithm, just like it does on IG or YouTube. No, Josh shaking his head. That's not how it works.
Do you know what that woman's name was, Josh? Because I don't know what her name
Donovan, quit lying. You know what her name is. Just tell us.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It started with an A.
Okay, Josh is lying too.
But they have different genres of what it is you're looking for. So it's like video games or
is
whatever.
Is it all above board? Is there
yeah, it's all above
board. Because on YouTube you can't Like you get flagged and stuff if you cross a line with
it's the same
language,
thing on,
what you're seeing, copyright stuff. all that.
Language is a little more free, but like physical whatever is strictly forbidden.
Donovan's evenings at first round would not be allowed to be put on.
Correct.
Just him risen up all the staff there.
So, but there is one called like Just Talking or Just Chilling or whatever. And so that's where a lot of this stuff comes from.
Brett says it's Amaranth or something.
He's watched.
Well, curiosity sometimes doesn't hurt to see what I don't like music by certain artists, right? Like I don't have, but when they have a new song, I'm still like, I'll give it a try, give it a listen. Yeah. And then I can just confirm that this is not for me or, hey, this isn't so bad. But you got to listen. You got to see before you can make an astute assessment.
Average person's relationship with Nickelback.
Oh, boy. Let's get to Cam Tate, who has cooked up another sizzling edition of Cam and Eggs here on a Monday morning. And we'll dive into the text line a little bit more as well before we get to Paul Sir from Hoop City at the top of 10 o'clock to talk a little basketball. But here is today's edition of Cam and Eggs.
Friday, folks. Who? Friday. That's the deadline there, buddy. Toronto wants a plebiscite on letting the Blue Jays back into the city. A plebiscite. Toronto can't decide on a bike lane without three studies, a public inquiry, and a all-nighty fill. In the buster. But sure, citywide vote by Friday. The ballot. Should the Jays return? A, no. B, absolutely not. C, trade the whole roster for a functioning streetcar. Meanwhile, the Jays are circling Pearson like lost luggage. Attention passengers, your baseball team has been rerouted to Buffalo. Again. Friday, people. Even my wheelchair has a faster turnaround, and I've been stuck in the same parking spot since Tuesday. Folks, the Blue Jays went from Game 7 of the World Series to 45 and 51 faster than my wheelchair on an icy ramp. They've been living out of suitcases, 3 in Boston and now 3 in Washington, before they finally find Rogers Center again Friday. The boys have collected more air miles than hits. Air Canada's giving them elite status. The wild card race isn't. They're going to Washington, and who knows, maybe get Donald What's-His-Name to pinch hit. After all, he hits on everything, right?
Not bad.
From nearly champions to nearly a travel agency in 1 year there, buddy. Friday, they're home. Somebody leave the porch light on and maybe hide the schedule. Folks, 3 surefire ways to keep the Jays out of Toronto by Friday. 1. Challenge them to a shootout at the Rogers Center gates. Maple Leafs goalies only. Nobody scored on Toronto Hope since 1967. The Jays don't stand a chance. 2. Replace the team plane's GPS with Argo's playbooks. They'll be running routes to Hamilton till September. 3. Tell them the CN Tower is the foul pole. The way they're hitting, they'll spend 3 weeks in review. Still no runs. Bolt the dome, Toronto. Tell them it's a rain delay. Forecast. Cloudy with 0% chance of playoffs. And there you go, buddy. Cam and Eggs. Sports. 1440.
Thank you, Tater. Cam, not giving the Jays much hope, which at this point, who is, frankly. Interesting about his take, though. Like, he doesn't want them to come back to Toronto, like, just punt on the rest of the home schedule for the year. Is he worried about what might happen? Like, they're going to get torn limb from limb getting off their plane by the rabid Blue Jays fans? I don't know. I think it's just a matter of it's a bad year. Like, Speck mentioned this earlier, right? Mm-hmm. You go to the World Series. It's one season. Like, that doesn't just give you a free pass to be bad the next year, like to ride that goodwill out. And I'm not saying that's the case, but it also, just because you go 1 year doesn't mean that it's a certainty that you're going to be another division leading team, number 1 seed, playoff contender again the next year. We know how volatile it can get. And it doesn't matter what sport. Injuries, extenuating circumstances, underperformance, all matter. And the Jays have just kind of got all of it this year. The injuries at the start of the season, it really seemed like that put them behind the 8 ball to an extent that they have not yet been able to catch up. Because even when they would creep their way back to 500, it was like that took everything out of them. And then boom, reset with another rough skid where you're win 1, lose 2, on, and now you're 8 games below again. Now here we are, deadline's coming up on Monday, and this team's a seller. There's no doubt about it.
But I'd add this. So when you look at this roster, how many guys do you genuinely think should be in your 1 through 6 holes in your lineup? I think there's 2. Like, I think Ernie Clement is, to me, Ernie Clement should be one of the best, if not the best, number 8 or 9 hitters in baseball. Ernie Clement's an 8 or 9 hitter on most quality MLB teams. I look at Nathan Lucas. That is a quality 8 or 9 hitter on almost every major league team. I look at the only guys who I think are actual true 1 through 6 hitters are Kaz Okamoto and Vladdy Jr. I know Vladdy's having a terrible season, but at this point, with what you've seen throughout the season, I think you legitimately have 2 guys who I view as 1 through 6 hitters on most major league teams. Everybody else, like you can say Alejandro Kirk's just having a tough season, whatever.
Plus coming off an injury, hand injury in particular, I think for the type of hitter he is and all that. Like
it's a big deal.
I think it matters. And
I'm giving him a bit of a break. Like I think in a normal season, Alejandro Kirk's a much better player than he's showed this year. But that's the one guy I'm giving a break. Everybody else, I'm saying, like, to me, Dalton Varsho is in the bottom 30 or order. At this point in his career, Springer's the bottom 3rd. Andres Jimenez he's a platoon player. I'm sorry. I don't care how good your glove is. He's been awful. He doesn't even provide defensive value this year. He's been no good at anything. Like Valenzuela, that's still a bottom 30 or your order player.
Oh, he's a rookie.
He's a rookie. Like there's nothing here. To me, you can talk about John Schneider all you want. I have no time of day for that conversation. You want time of day for something? Get this stupid front office out of here. I don't care that they just suck. They can't make a roster to save their lives. It's just a bad roster. It's what it is. I'll say it like it is. It's a bad roster.
Mike had texted in, there's no way Schneider should be fired in Toronto. He can only do so much with all the injuries they've had and lack of production from key players. His decisions have not meant the difference between playoffs or no playoffs. And there's a lot of validity to that. It sounds like Donovan's kind of on that same page. I find myself in a similar train of thought, and I'd love to hear from everyone else. 1-833-414-40. What to make of the Jays? Are they a bad roster? Are they just having a down year? Should John Schneider keep his job or not? We'll field all those plus lots more in the final hour of the show. But at top of the hour, Paul Sir is going to pop in, talk some basketball with us, all coming off the heels of LeBron James' big decision back on Friday morning to join the Philadelphia 76ers. 10:20, Noah Furtado from San Francisco Chronicle covering the Niners will guest with us as well. Before all that, Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fusion Promo Marketing. Expand your brand, high-quality promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Get noticed at fusionpromomarketing.ca. That's Fusion with a Z. Here is Donovan Paulson.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
MLB action tonight. The Jays getting back underway at 4:45. First pitch, Max Scherzer against his old team, the Washington Nationals. Max Scherzer coming in with 1-4 record on the season. Other games in the majors getting underway in a couple hours' time. You've got the Mariners in Texas to battle the Rangers. The Marlins look to avoid losing 13 in a row against the Philadelphia Phillies. It is the Tigers clashing with the Orioles. The D-backs are in Pittsburgh. The Mets clash with the Braves. The Reds against the Guardians. And the Cubbies are in St. Louis. Some football news. College football GM Michael Lombardi has been placed on leave by North Carolina after a report from a fellow team management person. Coming up next, right after the break, we have All Cert. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. BKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
It's time to hit the greens. Elevate your golf game with Country Club Tour Golf Academy. No matter your experience, our PGA of Canada teaching pros are here to help. Enjoy lessons year-round between our 7 CCT golf courses and 2 state-of-the-art indoor facilities. Choose the location convenient for you. We offer private lessons, group lessons, expert club fittings, and junior camps. Visit our website to learn more and get ready to take your game to the next level. Booking is easy. Go to countryclubtour.com/golf academy and schedule your lesson today.
Alberta, this one's for you. Around here, trust takes a few winters. It's why players have known Jackpot City since 1998. Home to hundreds of exciting casino games, live dealer action, and new adventures waiting to be discovered. Jackpot City, nothing beats the original. Please play responsibly, 18 years or older, Alberta only.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca.
School's almost out, and road trip season is just around the corner. But if your brakes sound like they're grinding harder than a hockey fourth liner, it might be time to visit Napa Auto Parts. Napa has all the quality parts, tools, and know-how to help keep your vehicle running smoothly and road ready. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Hello, Edmonton. Did you know the Subaru Forester has earned an IIHS Top Safety Pick Award or higher for 20 years running? With advanced eyesight driver assist technology, 360-degree surround view monitor, driver-focused technology, and of course, the legendary Subaru symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive, all working together. And it's available as a hybrid, delivering fuel efficiency as low as 6.8 liters per 100 kilometers. Visit your nearest Subaru dealer and test drive the Subaru Forester today. Welcome to Uncommon.
The Tom Gazzola Show with guest host Brandon Douglas on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440, presented by Bet365. Check out Bet365, early payout for baseball. When your team goes up by 5 runs, you get paid out immediately. No stress about blowing a big lead. Download the app and see what early payouts all about. Join the conversation with us this morning. 1-833-401-1440 is our text line, and you can weigh in on any number of our conversations, whether it's about Donovan ordering chicken fingers, the Blue Jays, and the remainder of their season, what it's going to look like, NFL, training camps are underway, or, as we're about to break down with our very good friend Paul Sir from Hoop City, some more offseason happenings around the NBA. Paul, good morning. Thanks for hopping on as always. Much appreciated, sir.
Great to be here with you, Brandon. I'm coming to you from Lake Minnetonka. Just outside of Minneapolis. I'm at my brother's place, and you can see in the background today it's going to be about 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and but the lake is the savior. So it's a beautiful setting.
Yes, of course. The purifying waters of Lake Minnetonka, as the artist formerly known as Prince so well educated us all, Paul. So, Paul, right. are you there in pure vacation mode, or are you in recovery mode right now? Because I know there had been some talk about getting some work done to your knees, I think, right? Did you get that taken care of?
I did not. We had to postpone it for a couple of weeks, but that is forthcoming, definitely. But actually down here for a wedding and a family gathering and a birthday celebration yesterday for my mother as she turned 93.
Awesome.
So just a wonderful time to connect with my family and all my old basketball friends. We got together the other night and told the same lies we've been telling for years. They've just gotten bigger and better. That's all.
That's a universal truth, Paul. I think whether it's me and my buddies that played high school hockey together, you and your basketball chums, Donovan and all of his pickleball friends, I'm sure recount their tales of glory from launching the sport to such prominence now. But really appreciate you carving out a little bit of time for us here amidst this awesome little holiday you've made out for yourself. I just had to have you on, Paul, to dive into Friday's blockbuster news that LeBron James signing on with the Philadelphia 76ers. I had completely convinced myself it was down to the Cavaliers, down to the Heat, down to the Warriors, and I was not alone in that sentiment. But how taken aback were you by the news he lands in Philadelphia and what it kind of means for the Sixers now heading into this season?
Yeah, like you, I was the same way. I knew there was some conversation with the 76ers. It never seemed to come out in the media that they were terribly serious. And of course, that can be for a variety of reasons. But regardless, this is the decision. And as LeBron is saying, as opposed to the decision to take his talents to South Beach, now he says this is his last decision. Now, this is what I don't get, Brandon. For all of the talk in L.A., now there's much more in the L.A. situation that has to deal with the Lakers wanting to move on from LeBron. I think that's very clear. But 2 years, $8 million. I mean, who wouldn't have signed LeBron? So that points to the fact that LeBron thinks this is his best chance to win another championship and become the first NBA player to win championships in 4 different cities. So that seems to be the motivation. He feels the combination with the talent that Philadelphia has under the leadership of Nick Nurse, that this is going to be the best situation for him.
Hoop City's Paul Sir with us here on the Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Tommy this week. So with that sentiment then, Paul, about LeBron, seemingly this is a, for lack of a better term, a ring-chasing move to try and carve out his own little spot in history with the 4 different franchises led to a championship. Any conversation around LeBron seems to always, default back to his legacy and comparing him to the likes of Michael Jordan and the other all-time greats. In your opinion, is it diminished that even if he can lead Philly to a title, does the fact that, only spends, a couple of years in each spot, then moves on to the next best fit for him kind of personally, I guess, he returned to Cleveland, got them the ring he kind of promised when drafted there. But you look at the other landing spots, the super team in Miami, going to LA to play for the Lakers, like it seems every big name does at some point or another in their career. Where do you land on the impact this has on LeBron's, what he'll leave behind on the game when he does finally hang him up?
Well, I think the evolution of basketball at the NBA level, Brandon, is such that the times have changed, the landscape has changed, the way players function, think, are paid, for goodness sakes, have all changed so dramatically. And when you're dealing with eras and generations, it becomes increasingly hard to start going into the greatest ever conversation without taking into account multiple factors like the ones that you just laid out very well. For me, there's no comparison. Michael Jordan's the greatest player ever. LeBron's he's a great player. He holds all the records. You can't diminish what LeBron has accomplished. That doesn't mean he's the greatest player ever, I think, in the minds of every basketball fan. Some people think he is. A lot of us think he isn't. But it's an odd legacy. The way he chases things is interesting. This is, I would attach the label weird in one respect, because all of a sudden he's going to Philadelphia, for goodness sakes. It's going to be interesting, though, now that he's going, now that it's done. All that being said, it's intriguing. It definitely is. The Eastern Conference, which was the doormat for so long, is certainly the doormat no longer, with the Knicks being the reigning champs. And now you start talking about the East like we've generally always talked about the West. The East is loaded with good teams. So LeBron being in Philadelphia, teaming up alongside Joel Embiid, a former MVP, the emerging superstar Tyrese Maxey, the excellent rookie going into his sophomore season, VJ Edgecombe, and then last but not least, I would think angered Jason Tatum, or no, I'm sorry, Jaylen Brown landing there too. My only question for you, Brandon, is, and this is asked often in NBA franchises, how is this team going to function with one basketball?
Paul, you couldn't have teed it up any better, because my next line, it's written down here, only one ball, question mark. Like we've had no shortage of loaded rosters before, mentioning the Miami one and teams grouping up in LA with the Clippers and the Lakers. And like, this is not an uncommon feature, but really 5 players of this caliber on a starting rotation, it certainly is intimidating, I would think, when you're lining up across them at opening tip-off on a night-to-night basis, staring in the face of either established or emerging superstars at every position. But the reality is that there is only one ball. And with that being said, certain players have to suddenly show a deference, and they can spread it around as much as they want. But when the game's on the line, who's taking that last shot, right? That's our favorite cliche to use when talking about basketball. Is it LeBron? Is LeBron the facilitator? Is he the one with the ball in his hand to decide who he's going to move it off to take that last shot? And as a player like Edgecombe, who's the youngest of the group and kind of one of the emerging ones, does he suddenly have to take a back seat in the short term to give way to these more established guys?
Yes to everything you just said.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say it will probably be a combination of LeBron and Maxey who will have the ball in their hands when you're going for the last shot. Here's the opportunity for Philadelphia, though. One of the great facets of LeBron's game is he's such a superior passer.
Mm-hmm.
And if he is willing to sacrifice even more than he sacrificed last year in Los Angeles and give up even more of his points per game, because let's face it, Brandon, he already has the record that
Right.
he has set most likely will never be broken. That to me is almost an impossibility. He doesn't need the points. What he wants is the ring. And to get the ring with the talent around him, if he will defer to this great talented roster, I think that is a real plus. Like, this is a gem for Philadelphia. My big question, though, is how do Maxey and Brown get along? Because both had fantastic high 20s scoring seasons this last year. Are they willing to give that up? Jaylen Brown, even when he was running alongside Jason Tatum, was scoring mid to high 20s. He won't be able to do that, I don't think, this year. He's going to be low 20s. Maxey is going to be low 20s. Edgecombe is going to be mid-teens. Are these guys going to be satisfied? And if Embiid's healthy, now what in the world do you do? It's an abundance of riches. Nick Nurse is a smart guy. Maybe they'll figure it out. But it's going to be a lot of games, I think, until they get their chemistry down.
And last thing on this before I pivot away to some other topics is that now with this and a little bit of the dust settling in the Eastern Conference anyway right now, Paul, the Knicks are the defending champions. I think they've earned the right to still hold the crown as the de facto favorites in the East. But with some of this retooling that other teams have done, the Sixers loading up, Giannis down to Miami, where do you see the Eastern Conference power rankings stacking up here mid-off season?
I think the pundits are going to come out and go Knicks, Philly, most likely Miami because of Giannis. This is initial. Let's see if Giannis can stay healthy for 5 minutes. Then you've got Cleveland. They should be very good again. Celtics, you can't forget them. And then the Cretin-Derham Hall, St. Paul, Minnesota-led Orlando Magic. Mm-hmm. They had a great finish to the season last year and almost pulled off a first-round upset as well. We've been waiting for them to finally blossom into a team. And if Wagner is healthy, they might be able to do that under Sean's leadership. We'll see. But right now, you have, like you said, de facto, you have to give it to the Knicks. It's theirs until they lose it. Mm-hmm. But boy, it's going to be interesting to see how Philly is able to emerge and what the new retooled Heat under the great Eric Spoelstra are going to look like. So the East is far more intriguing now than it has ever been in recent memory. That's for sure.
Paul Sir from Hoop City with us here on the Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. And the Magic, they broke my heart last year, Paul. Remember? Preseason prediction, I said they'd be playing for the Eastern Conference title in the conference championships. And you and Kevin laughed me out of the room turns out you guys were right because, man, they were so underwhelming for so much of last season before turning it on to sneak in at the end. But shifting gears over to the West, we kind of saw a little bit of news here with the OKC Thunder kind of making a little bit of a play with an offer sheet. We love talking about it in the NHL, but in the NBA, it flies under the radar a little bit more. They offer sheet to try and create some cap problems and issues with the Denver Nuggets. They succeed in doing so because Denver ends up matching it for Spencer Jones, so he will remain there. And this kind of goes hand in hand with Husk's text question for you about what Denver's going to do. Can they solve their kind of cap and roster issues with this new wrench thrown into the mix as well?
They're going to have a hard time. The Nuggets are in a rough spot because their talent is underwhelming at a number of positions. They still don't have the Watson situation. I don't believe that's settled yet. And you've got now a guy who was a nice role player, forcing them to make even harder decisions now to try to stay under the second apron. So the Thunder, very crafty, very, very crafty move. They needed Spencer like they needed another hole in the head with the talent that they've got running around that locker room. It's just unbelievable. But hey, you're looking for every opportunity that you possibly can to not only strengthen yours, but weaken your opponent's roster. And they seem to have accomplished that. Nikola Jokic, I'm really curious to see how he comes back because he had by far his poorest showing against the Timberwolves in a very, very underwhelming, you used that term earlier, and it certainly applied to the Denver Nuggets. You know, we really look for the Nuggets to make some serious offseason moves, which they have not done yet.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they go into the season, though, looking to make moves up to the trade deadline and really rework their roster. But right now, kudos to OKC. They beat you in a variety of ways, and they've caused some damage this way as well.
No doubt. Last one for you, Paul. We'll bring it back a little closer to home. The Stingers kind of mired in a little bit of a very ho-hum season, but they did secure a playoff spot, beating Calgary yesterday, 100-89 from the Expo Center. They'll finish out the season with a couple consecutive home games here to wrap things up. Now, in the CBL new playoff format, right, we get 8 teams in, only 2 teams are missing. And it is a very close standing race with the exception of Scarborough out east running away with the Eastern Conference. There's a lot of parity elsewhere, though. So, however this shakes out for the Stingers, if they end up playing any of Vancouver or Winnipeg, I guess technically a outside chance it could still be Saskatoon. What do you make of their chances coming opening round of playoff? Are they just fodder for a higher seed, or because of the parity, do you think maybe there is a chance they could punch their way through?
Great way to frame the situation, particularly in the West, because there is parity. There is very little separating the Western Conference teams. It looked like Vancouver at the early part of the season with their roster composition was going to be the clear-cut favorite, followed closely by Winnipeg. Winnipeg has been surprisingly mediocre to this point. I would say in the West, it's going to come down to who gets hot and in the playoffs. Of course, that's true all the time. But in the West, there is no clear-cut favorite. There is no dominant team. If the Stingers are able to do something they haven't been able to do thus far in the season, which is put some consistent back-to-back solid play together, they have a legitimate shot to make some noise as the playoffs arrive. And these last 2 games against the Mamba, worst name in basketball, in the CBL, and then against the Blackjacks from Ottawa, another dandy. They really have an opportunity to strengthen their standing and maybe stave off a first-round matchup that would be really difficult for them. So it just comes down to whether Coach Baker and his staff can get this team on the same page, start playing a bit more consistently than they have been, and peak. Hey, one of the things you can do is you can peak at the right time, and there's not only no better time, it's the only time you want to peak, which is right now going into the playoffs.
Paul, excellent stuff as always. Always enjoy our conversations. Appreciate you taking some time while you're down enjoying the sun-soaked shores of Lake Minnetonka. Have a great time spending with friends and family down there, Paul. We'll look forward to catching up again very soon. Have a good one.
Thanks so much, Brandon. You take care.
Paul, sir, Hoop City, down south of the border, taking it all in. You boys ever been to Minnie, land of 1,000 lakes? I'd love to go there someday. Seems like a real Canadian vibe, but in the United States of America. When we return, we'll talk football south of the border, particularly the San Francisco 49ers. And Noah Furtado will go and join us as camp is underway without their head coach, Kyle Shanahan, as he recovers from a car accident. Then we'll wrap up the show heading into the top of the hour. It's the Gazzola Show on Sports 1440, brought to you by Bet365. You can watch us. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Mr. Rooter has deja vu. Mr. Rooter has deja vu.
The bathroom is right over there, Mr. Rooter.
Thank you, good sir. Wait, I swear I've plunged this toilet before. It was clogged with a snow globe. Am I living in a time loop? Oh, good. It's just a voodoo doll that looks exactly like me. Whew, what a relief.
For a plumbing experience you'll want to relive, call Mr. Rooter.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
Hello, Edmonton. Did you know the Subaru Forester has earned an IIHS Top Safety Pick Award or higher for 20 years running? With advanced eyesight driver assist technology, 360-degree surround view monitor, driver focus technology, and of course, the legendary Subaru symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive, all working together. And it's available as a hybrid, delivering fuel efficiency as low as 6.8 liters per 100 kilometers. Visit your nearest Subaru dealer and test drive the Subaru Forester today. Welcome to Uncommon.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
Photographers, start your cameras. Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest is back. We're asking you to show us the people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo to show why life in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at whatsyourshare.ca.
The Tom Gazzola Show with guest host Brandon Douglas on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
(10:22). Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Tommy G this morning, rest of the week, as he takes a little time off. I know what you're thinking. Didn't Tom just start here? And that's been brought up by several others. The answer is yes, he did. But no, had the time carved out. He's serving others well. He's helping out with some hockey schools and camps, I think down in Calgary, a little bit around the capital region, maybe even jetting, I think, down to Arizona for a small stretch too. But it's all in the effort of improving the lives of others. So shout out Tom, a real modern day Mother Teresa. Let's head down south ourselves here to talk some San Francisco 49ers football with Noah Furtado from the San Fran Chronicle. Noah, good morning. Thanks a lot for taking some time in what I'm sure is a very busy period for you as a training camp underway in the Bay Area. How are you doing this morning?
Good, man. Thanks for having me. Happy to join and chat. There's a lot going on.
the start of camp here. Just on my way to the facility.
There sure is. And let's start with the kind of the headlining news, which came out of nowhere a little bit with Kyle Shanahan involved in a car accident and just getting released from hospital. He's absent from the beginning of training camp here. Do you have any sort of updates on when he might rejoin the team and possible impacts that not having the main man there getting things underway this week could have on the club?
Yeah, that timeline is really up in the air right now. What I can tell you is that the first training camp practice was yesterday, and he did pop in for about a half hour midway through practice. So he made an appearance, had a hat, sunglasses, rocking a mustache. Still very much in recovery, but that's probably a good sign. He was next to the GM, John Lynch, for a good portion of that time, chatted up some of the players. So he's on the road to recovery. Chris Forrester, their longtime O-line coach, he's taking over as sort of the interim acting head coach, and discussed with us yesterday some of the adjustment that needs to take place, but that for the most part, their system has kind of been set already. The installs for the first part of training camp is basically the same as what they did in OTAs. And so for a little bit here, at least, it's kind of business as usual. Fred Warner said the same thing. And so until he gets back, it feels like this operation is kind of well oiled. Depending on how long this runs, obviously if it runs into the season, that's a different conversation. But for as of right now, the start of training camp, it's almost autopilot.
Yeah, there are obviously a lot of familiar faces, and the coaching staff is one that is well-versed in the system side of things. But both coordinators on the defensive and offensive side of things are first-year men at the job with this team. Now, Clay Kubiak, he's been in the coaching tree here in the system for a number of years, but takes over as OC. And Raheem Morris returns to a coaching tree which he came from in the McVay-Shanahan timeline, but after a couple years as head coach in Atlanta to take over this defensive group. How has that been going through the offseason in your estimation of, OTAs and things, and now the start of training camp with these two guys kind of getting back in the mix with Shanahan and the rest of his crew?
Well, yeah, Clay, I mean, he's super familiar with everything. And so he's just kind of picking up on what he would usually do, sans Shanahan. Raheem Morris, obviously, is really familiar with Kyle. They worked together back in the day. But that defense, I can tell you, is going to look a little bit different under his purview. Some more five-man fronts. The coverages are going to look a little bit different. Some of the offensive players have already noticed that, especially with some of the vets that over the years have kind of faced the same defense every OTAs, every training camp. And so that is a little bit promising. It's going to be interesting to see what he cooks up. Obviously, Raheem has a pretty big pedigree on the defensive side of the ball. So, as of right now, the defensive side is going to look a little bit different. The offense really isn't. And as far as like scripting plays for practices and things like that, Clay already does a lot of that. Even with Kyle when he's there. So yeah, it's a mix. And Forrester actually split up their team meeting yesterday. It wasn't a big one altogether. He split into offense and defense, where Kyle would usually kind of just talk ball for 30, 40 minutes in a big team meeting. So they're making some changes, in his absence. Kyle is basically like, do what you want or delegate it, if you don't want to do it. So, they have an idea of how this thing is going to move forward, but it's still very fresh.
Yeah.
Forrester just found out maybe a few days ago that he was going to be the acting head coach, like actually have that title and be at the forefront here.
Noah Furtado from the San Francisco Chronicle guesting with us here on Sports 1440, talking Niners with training camps underway. So the personnel, and let's start on the offensive side of the ball, Noah, where it is a large collection of all the big names back in their place. Brock Purdy, CMC, George Kittle, of course, the headlining players, but a different looking wide receiver room, right? With the top pick, Deshaun Stribling coming in, Ricky Pearsall trying to stay healthy this season. And then the veterans, Christian Kirk and Mike Evans, fresh faces brought in to replace the likes of Juwan Jennings, of course, the Brandon Ayuk saga continues on. But what have you made, like I said, similar to the coaching question, throughout the offseason, the chances you've had to see these guys, what have you made of this newly formed wide receiver room and how, pecking order could play out here through training camp and preseason?
It's kind of weird that I guess Mike Evans just plays for the 49ers now.
Yeah, it's right.
I mean, the guy is a future Hall of Famer. And I can just tell you from the first day, early on, they do, the wide receiver breaks out into their individual drills. He was running, like a press release drill with their wide receiver coach, Leonard Hankerson. Something was a bit off. He knew it right away. And Hankerson pulled him back to repeat the rep. I mean, for a veteran like that, you could see something like, no, I'm too good for that, or something along those lines. But the guy, I mean, from that one interaction, you can tell he's really coachable, even at, his older age now. He's really established, but still very much willing to listen. So I think that figure in the wide receiver room, you mentioned Pearsall, Stribling. There's also a couple of other young cats in there, Jacob Cowing, Jordan Watkins, that I think will really benefit from his presence. Obviously, Christian Kirk has been around for a bit as well. So, the hierarchy there, the obvious absence is Brandon Ayuk, but I feel like they've been operating as if he hasn't been on the team for a while now.
Yeah.
And so the new structure from Evans on down, I think is, one that's pretty stable and it makes sense. You got the vet, he's the longtime All-Pro, and then the other guys who are looking to prove themselves.
And so with all of that considered and bringing in a future Hall of Famer like Evans, even at the later stages of his career, as of right now, do you think that the receiver room is improved over last year, with the understanding that Ayuk's absence continues and is expected to continue as long as he's even a 49er, should he be traded, cut, whatever the case?
I think it is safe to say that. I mean, Juwan Jennings he's a notable departure there. They used him in a way that really, took advantage of his blocking. He was a pretty short-handed guy. And they kind of see Stribling in that same mold. Obviously, at this early stage, it's really difficult to get a sense for rookies. And so that'll be, a work in progress and something to monitor. But when you add Mike Evans, and I guess you can't assume that Ricky Pearsall is going to stay healthy, but those two at the top, that makes for a pretty good wide receiver room. And some of the young guys, if they come along, that adds, some good supplemental depth.
Noah Furtado from the San Francisco Chronicle, guesting here talking Niners on the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. So health, right? That's always seems to be the conversation that headlines discussions around the Niners for many years now, right? And key players going down for long stretches, season-ending injuries and all that stuff. So starting with George Kittle, is he going to be ready to go to start the season or very close to that? What are you hearing and kind of seeing on his front here so far?
He's pushing to go week one. Given the circumstances around traveling to Australia, I feel like that dims the chances naturally, just because of the time difference, the long flight there. It's like 16 hours
it's crazy.
away. I mean, it's kind of crazy. But that's what he's expressed. That's what others have expressed in terms of his goal. Obviously, he's a really ambitious guy. And I could very well see that not happening, but he's been on the side fields, kind of doing some work on his own. A lot of the guys that rehab, you can kind of see them off and monitor their progress that way. He looks okay. He's going to be progressing toward week one there, and if he doesn't hit that, it's not out of the question that he actually has to start the season on PUP. So if he doesn't, within those first 4 weeks, you could see him as soon as then.
Now, defensively, you mentioned with Raheem Morris taking over, they are going to make some changes to how they deploy personnel, and they have the personnel in place. I still firmly believe that when you talk about the names down the list, for my money, the best linebacker group in the league. When you bring back Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, wherever Bosa's playing has such an impact on the game. And then, Michael Williams as a good piece in that group too. Is it really is it too simple to say that as long as this group or most of them stay healthy and stay on the field, they have the ability to be one of the best defenses in the league, or have some of the departures over past years cut into that a little bit?
I don't think so. I think the big pieces are still there. Salah managed to make it work without Warner, without Bosa, and then without Michael. It's a good sign that Bosa isn't starting, the training camp on PUP. He is going to have sort of a ramp up, scaling type plan this training camp, and is expecting to play week 1. Michael, they're hopeful for him to be good for week 1. That may not happen. It may spill into subsequent weeks. But Fred Warner's healthy. Greenlaw, his partner in crime is back next to him, and they're just extremely happy. You can just tell they're just bouncing around out there. They're pretty much best friends. And so, the anchors of that defense are still there. I think that, it's going to be interesting if Michael isn't ready to go right away. Who plays opposite Bosa? That's still in question. And then there's, a safety spot or two that, might be the result of a camp competition here. Right. But for the most part, that defense, most of that defense is set. Yeah. Their cornerbacks, Renato Green, Diamador Lenore, the rookie Upton Stout from last year did really well. He improved a lot as the season went on, and I would expect him to be the front runner there at nickel. And then obviously he brought in Osa Odigizua from Dallas, who's a pass rushing defensive tackle and really adds to what was a really big weakness for them last year. That as good as the team was, they ranked last in sacks, dead last. And we're only a couple away from setting a new low, actually, for a 17-game regular season. So they've taken some steps to address some of the weak points, and we also have to consider, that this is going to be in some ways a new look defense as well. And so, but for the most part, the personnel, that's what we're talking about here, is mostly the same, and I guess more importantly, the key personnel is.
Yeah, for sure. San Francisco Chronicles, Noah Furtado, our guest here on the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Last one for you, Noah, and it's a little bit of a step back perspective one, because this NFC West is still one of the very best, maybe the best division in the NFL. We know the Cardinals are probably not going to be very good this year as they go through a little retool, rebuild stage. But the defending Super Bowl champions, the LA Rams, did not hold anything back in the offseason, reloading and reshaping some side things on their side. Obviously, bringing in Myles Garrett being the headlining move. How do you see the West shaking down this year, and where do the Niners fit into it once the 17-game regular season is complete?
3 playoff teams you would expect.
Yeah.
But Myles Garrett changes a lot there. The Rams were really good last season already, and then you drop him into that defense. Is Aaron Donald coming back? I guess we'll see on that front. It just seems a bit unfair. But the Seahawks, obviously the reigning Super Bowl champs. I don't know, that the Niners would be, on paper favorited against those two teams right now. But obviously that's why you play the games. And like I said, those 3 teams, not taking anything away from any one of them, are probably all going to make the playoffs. So, at the end of the day, you get to the playoffs and anything can happen. And I think the Niners, from that standpoint, they're not necessarily focused on too much trying to, measure themselves up against the Rams and the Seahawks exclusively. You play a 17-game schedule. The acquisition made waves in the building when it first happened, because that really moves the needle a ton. But I think they feel good about their group going into this year, and like I said, it's still pretty much a star-studded roster. The matter is going to be health, and performing the way they did last year, making the playoffs despite missing all of those key pieces. When you get all of them back this year, healthy, it's promising. You can kind of maybe push the ceiling a little bit more even.
Noah, great stuff. Really appreciate your insight on your way to camp day number 2. Enjoy the rest of camp preseason, and we will look forward to catching up with you as the season gets underway. And what are we talking? Just a month or so's time. Appreciate it. 2 months, excuse me. Appreciate it as always. Take care, and we'll talk soon.
Take care, man.
Noah Furtado, San Francisco Chronicle, covering the San Fran 49ers. And yeah, tough to argue against that being the best division in total talent. The one team will be much below the rest. Sorry, Arizona. But the other three, all three, I think, have Super Bowl notions. Is that out of line, Donovan? Like, I get it. The Niners we just wait for the big injury hammer to drop with this club. But look at what they did last year, even with all the injuries. Like, they show that they've got some resilience inside that locker room that pushes them through year to year.
I think, yes, if everything goes right for any of those three teams, I think they can win the Super Bowl. Like, now, granted, for the Niners, I think things have to go a little more right than the other two. Because, I mean, we've seen everybody on that Niners roster basically go down for what feels like months at a time with injuries over the course of their careers, right? So I think any team out of those three could possibly win. You've got to, in my opinion, you got to view the Rams as the absolute favorite right now, just based on what they did this offseason. Like, I know we talked at length about Myles Garrett there, but are we forgetting about McDuffie?
That's what I mean. Like, to me, going back to pre-draft, the Trent McDuffie acquisition was like, holy crap, the Rams are going all in. And then fast forward another 2 months or whenever the timeline lined up, they go in and get the best pass rusher, not just available in the league. He's the best defensive player probably.
Yeah.
Right. And you add that to a group where Stafford can clearly still wheel and deal it. You've got a couple standout receivers, really good head coach and play caller. The book says it, like on Bet365, the Rams are the shortest odds to win the Super Bowl. And I don't think it should be really close. Like, they're so far and away the best assembled roster, in my opinion, right here as training camp has started.
I think you can look at the Rams and say, like, their one clear weakness was in the secondary last year. And now you have Trent McDuffie. And then you don't just go get Trent McDuffie. You go and get one of his running mates, right? So I think that this Rams team has basically a stud at every key position. So, like, and you could argue that Myles Garrett's the best pure player in the NFL as well, too, right? So
I wouldn't argue with you.
Like, this team where you have the reigning MVP, reigning defensive player of the year, reigning, sack leader in NFL history, they're loaded from top to bottom. And then they got Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, who, by the way, Devontae Adams last year, I don't know if you saw his touchdown numbers. Oh my God. He's just Mr. 1 yard touchdown basically on the goal line.
Yeah.
This Rams team should, if everything goes right, they should win the Super Bowl. But as we know, things go wrong.
That's why they play the games, Donovan.
That's why they play the games.
That's why they play the games. Good stuff from Noah down in San Fran. Really appreciate him carving it out. He was literally on his way to the facility for today's training camp practices. When we return, we will wrap up the show. We'll let you know what's coming up on the station for the rest of the day. We'll check in with the fellas, see what they're getting up to on a Monday afternoon, evening, and a little bit of Elks news just coming across the wire that we'll update you on as well. To close things out, when we return here on the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440, watch us for streaming it on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch, and it's brought to you by Bet365.
Kickoff is coming August 1st. Elks, Rough Riders at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. The prehistoric party is back, presented by Purolator Tackle Hunger. Experience family-friendly fun all game long with a dinosaur-themed contest. Get your tickets at goelks.com/tickets.
This jersey was worn by the legend himself, signed and everything. You can't just wear it. I'm framing it with expressions and images.
Your prized jersey deserves better than the closet. Think expressions and images. Your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
Not sure what wheels fit your vehicle? Evolve Wheels and Tires gives you honest advice from enthusiasts who know fitment inside and out. Whether it's your truck, SUV, or sports car, they have you covered. Evolve Wheels and Tires, Edmonton's premium wheel specialists. Evolve your ride. Evolve your experience. First pitches, kickoffs, tip-offs. When the game is on, you call the shots. Whether it's a parlay after working all day or a straight bet and straight to bed, Betway has what it takes for you to bet the Edmonton way. So when it's your turn to play the Edmonton way with Betway. Play responsibly. Alberta only. 18 plus.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message.
The Tom Gazzola Show with guest host Brandon Douglas on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
11:15. Welcome back. It's Tom Gazzola Show. Final segment here on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Tommy G will be for the remainder of the week. So, yes, the mornings are not quite as sexy as those bumpers told us in the lead up to the debut of the Gazzola Show. But as Eddie said, they're a lot smoother with my crisp head. We had a text earlier, actually, saying that if I'm doing the lowest guard already, that's what I'm doing currently, I just need to commit and take the next step. It was from Bald Mike. I'm trying to see if I can find the exact message. It's lost in the shuffle here. But essentially, he was saying, just go down, take it to the wood. Right? As the expression goes, he said he did that, never went back. I just find it inconvenient, right? Like I shave my head with the electric razor every 7 to 10 days usually. If I got nothing going on, maybe I'll let it stretch to 2 full weeks. But with the Bic thing, like you got to be doing that every day. Like you commit to it, right? Am I crazy?
You would assume so. I mean, unless you're one of those people who never really hit puberty. And no, like, have you looked at Declan's facial hair? I don't know.
Yeah, but those aren't the same thing.
I know, but it's kind of hair growth, no? Like his hair just grows in super, super, super slow. So I would maybe he's on a different timeline.
But I don't know. I don't think the two go hand in hand. Like if you can't grow facial hair, that doesn't mean that the hair on your head grows slowly necessarily. I'm sure there's some correlation, but it's not causation, as we well know.
As someone who has no idea how the hair growth field works, I will just say, Declan, with and without hair, it's
like what you think he looks that much better now, or worse?
I think he looks better without the hair now, just because of like taking. I know it's a scary step for a lot of guys once you start to lose the hair, but I think everybody should probably realize like. Either go to Turkey or once you start to lose it, like, hey, if I eventually get to that stage, which crossing my fingers, I don't, I think you just got to go for it.
Matthias's beard texted in 1-833-414-1440. You can get in on the conversation with us, not just on this show, but to the shows that are about to follow, which we will key you in on momentarily. He says, I'm with you, dude. I'm also a 1-week head buzzer. The hair is still too thick to shave daily as I'll have no scalp skin left. Ha ha ha. So is that a matter of like you just got to start using some more moisturizing shaving cream or something? What about, I've heard of women. I've heard of women, but some women that shaving their legs, they'll like just do in the shower and they just use conditioner instead of like a shaving cream.
I have been told this as well.
And that like when I'll use a razor on like my neck, right? Like the back of my neck. And I'll do that in the shower and I just use like conditioner doing that.
So do you do that for your neck too with the little stubble you got going on?
Like my actual beard part of my neck?
Yes.
No, I shave that in the sink with shaving cream.
Okay. Now,
but in the shower, like the back of it, after I buzz my head, and then I get in the shower to clean myself up, I go in there and just do like you said, my neck hair, not beard hair. It's much thinner and kind of wispier.
I might actually try this conditioner thing, not on my legs, but I might try it on my actual beard.
Try it on your arms first.
I might try it on my actual beard, because as somebody who has maybe like the most sensitive neck in the world. No, buddy, if you've seen me come in, there's like red spots all over my neck because it flares up.
Right.
And it's not a great look. So I might try this tonight and report back if this actually works.
People will wait with bated breath, I'm sure. Let's provide a little update quickly here. The Edmonton Elks have added American national O-lineman Arvin Hassini to the practice roster. Club announced this morning. Jaden Pearson, the American linebacker, has been released in correspondence. Hassini, 6'4", 310. He was released by Hamilton last week. So he out there, was originally a third-round pick out of UBC. 2 games for Hamilton last season. CFL debut against the Riders a couple years ago. And prior, he was a 16-game player at UBC. It was a Canada West All-Star in 2024. So that is via Mike Curie and the Elks comms and PR team this morning. So a little piece of news. And I wanted to bring this up. We'll mention it all week long, too. The Elks on Saturday, Commonwealth Stadium, 5 o'clock kickoff. How can you not want to be there after watching last Thursday's game in Regina? But you can go. We're giving away tickets all week long on every show. All you have to do is text the word ELKS, E-L-K-S, to our number, 1-833-414-1440, and it automatically, the technology has advanced so far. By doing that, it automatically enters you in, and the names will be drawn, selected at random. You will then get a text back from our promotions team, Marissa and Brent and the great crew down the hall. They'll text you back saying, congrats, you've won. They'll need your information. They'll get you your ticket sent over. We're giving them away all week. So text in ELKS to 1-833-401-1440. And you can, of course, go see the Elks' entire schedule. We have it on our own website, sports1440.ca, because we're doing this for every home game all year. There's still a good slew of them left. We got Riders this Saturday, Argos on August 15th, coming off the bye. August 21st, short turnaround there against the Bombers. And then, of course, Saturday, the Labor Day rematch against the Stamps. September 26th against the Ticats. And then Friday home regular season game, hoping for a home playoff game. Trending in that direction would be awesome. Bombers will be here October 16th. So text in Elks, and you will be entered in for a pair of tickets. Coming up on the station, The Frenzy, Sans Douglas with Hallie, Paulson, Fenwick, and new intern in today as well, Connor. We got double Connor.
Connor squared.
As if Edmonton needed another Connor. We had to replace Connor Ingram, so we bring in Connor the intern. Looking forward to getting him up to speed on everything. That's coming up at 11 o'clock. They'll go 3 rounds with Josh Fenwick. Do you guys have a guest on today?
Apparently we have somebody. I just haven't looked at who it is.
Great.
Yeah, the guest is Ruthie Polinsky.
Oh, great get. Ruthie's
Fantasy
awesome.
Frenzy GOAT per Connor Halley.
She is. She's awesome. She's been on with Connor and I a couple different times. Covers the Bears out of Chi-Town.
The Bears.
The Bears. The Indiana Bears? Question mark?
The Gary, Indiana Bears.
I'm sure Ruthie will have some insight on that as well. And as usual, Connor and the crew will dive into the text line. Noon, Alan Mitchell, the lowdown with Low Tide. Declan will be by. We can get his hair care routine now that he's down to the wood, courtesy of Eddie Steele in the basement of Elks Nation HQ. And Monday means Jason Greger will be on with LT. And then the Greger Show 2 to 6 with the man himself, Jason Greger. Mondays means Kevin Woodley will be by, Mark Spector, Cam Tate, and I think they're planning on heading to Kansas City to talk a little Chiefs as well. Whoa, the texts are coming in a flurry here.
We've been told Sports 1440 in the summer is basically the talk for men.
People love it. Nick M, guys, yes to conditioners for shaving. Connor's assertive. Oh, sorry, that's a The balls are taking over. Wait a minute, that's not the message. Here we go. Oh, sorry. My text line just I clicked on one thing and it took me to a completely different message. So I'd started reading it from the preview phase on the left. Doesn't matter. Nick M. Guys, yes, 2 conditioners for shaving. Plus, I did the turkey hair job. It works. And I can go in detail on do's and don'ts when you do it, Nick M. Well, yeah, that's the very common thing. It's very popular now. But also you can just more locally, if you're not interested in jetting across the world and having to go through the recovery on the plane ride back and all that, Dr. Vance Elliott right here. Great option as well. So I don't know if Declan checked into that or not before going just with the bald thing. And Northside Jason, I changed the conditioner a few years ago. Skin's so much softer now. No red marks or cuts. Donovan, this seems like a ringing endorsement.
This seems like a ringing endorsement. I'm going to give her a
And Cat Dad says you need to change your blade more often. And getting some aftershave as well from a retail shop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, hey, you know what? The shaving cream hasn't necessarily gotten it done, so you know what? We'll be trying different things tonight.
Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in to the program this morning. We will do it all again tomorrow, starting at 7:00. In the meantime, Connor Halley and the Frenzy will have you at the top of the hour, and appreciate all of our guests for joining us today as well. TJ Luther, Mark Spector, Low Tide, Paul Sir, and Noah Furtado. Cam Tate as well with his contributions with Cam and Eggs. Let's wrap up the show with a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. Have a great day, everybody. Keep it breezy out there. We'll be back tomorrow at 7:00. Here is Donovan Paulson.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
MLB action. The Toronto Blue Jays, of course, get underway at 4:45. First pitch, Max Scherzer returning. I pulled a Declan Kruger. The Toronto Blue Jays back in action tonight against the Washington Nationals. 4:45 first pitch. Max Scherzer back in action against his former team, the Washington Nationals. The Mariners are in Texas to battle the Rangers. It is the Phillies against the Marlins. The Marlins looking to avoid losing 13 straight games. Tigers clash with the Orioles. It is the Cubbies in St. Louis, and the A's host the Red Sox. And one piece of football news, college football GM Michael Lombardi has been placed on leave by North Carolina for an incident with a fellow staff member. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is Fantasy Frenzy without Mr. Douglas. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall.